Yo, what is going on, Papa fam? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Papa React, aka Sonny, and we have got one of the biggest bangers and anticipated videos on the channel yet. We're coming back with React Native. We're doing Expo, we're doing iOS, we're doing Android, and I even have a little bit of Next.js in the mix as well. So it's going to be an absolute banger of a video. Smash that like button. Let me know what you're watching from right now in the live chat, and get ready for today's demo, guys. I've got a huge treat, and not only are we doing it for iOS. Typically when I've done all my React Native builds, I only showed you iOS, but now I've gone the extra mile. We're doing iOS and Android, so you guys can't call me out. It doesn't work on both. Get ready, guys, for the Zoom Clone 2.0. We're building a native video calling app. It's gonna be sick. Smash that like button, guys. Get ready for the demo in 3, 2, 1. Check this out, guys. Boom. We have our video calling app. Now, this is absolutely gorgeous, first off, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just prove to you it works, because let's go ahead and try it out for ourselves. On this phone, we've got authentication, by the way. Clerk is back in the authentication for this. If I go ahead and click on start a call, check this out. So boom, I start a call on this phone, and then over here, I can go ahead and see my call on the right hand side, or I can copy the call ID. So I can either join by clicking this, or I can go ahead and join the room by going ahead and pasting the call ID and clicking join room. And then what you'll see is boom, we have a video chat right now. And it's worth mentioning, when you're using simulators, you can't actually use the video feed. So it tests with this cool little animation. So on the left screen right now, if I flip the camera, you can see that if this person was real, you see that if I move around the room, look at that, guys. We've got a full video calling app right now. And this is all working. And by the way, guys, this works with any number of phones, right? So you could have up to 100 participants, I believe, even more than 100. I think it was like 100,000 or something crazy, right? If I go ahead and create another phone, I'm going to do it right now in front of you guys. So I'm going to spin up another phone, and we're going to see for ourselves how that looks, right? And we're going to literally get all three phones. Oh my God, my voice, what happened there? All three phones. Wow. All three phones live on stream right now. We can go ahead and spin up another simulator. I'm going to show you how to do all of this in today's video. What's up, guys? I can see you tuning in. Everyone jumping in the chat. Over 100 people already. That's what I'm talking about. Papa Fam Energy is here to stay. I'm going to go ahead and spin it up on this app. So let's go ahead and launch this app right now. I believe I have it here. So let's go ahead and spin that one up. And I'll show you the authentication portion. Okay, so let's go ahead and log this user in. So right now, if I was to just join this call, let's jump into this call, everyone getting the same call. And look at that, guys, group calling. Well, hey, works perfectly, just as we want it, just as we expect it. And even then, if I was to flip the camera once again and show you guys that this user is moving around, you guys can see for yourself all of the layout, everything is working. Now, if that ain't cool, I don't know what is, right? Look at this, guys. Someone goes, your machine is a beast. Yeah, you can spin up loads of stuff on the M3 Max. So go ahead and smash the like button right now. And to top it off, I'm going to show you that this is a full app. So firstly, we've got a little bit of cool stuff here. We can go ahead and see all my calls. Well, they're just going to let that call run on the side to just show you how, how smooth that thing is. And then if we go ahead and exit, we've got a nice little pop-up. So we're going to go ahead and sign out right now. And boom, we even have a beautiful login page and auth flow. So this is all backed by the guys over at Clerk. We've got a full login with email and password, or we can sign in with Google. So first up, I'm going to show you sign with Google. I'm going to go ahead and log in right now. Let's go ahead and do papareact.team. Let's log in right now, and you guys will see that this works perfectly. Boom, we are in. We can see one call is live right now. That's amazing, right? Now I'm going to go ahead and even show you. I took it a step further because, I don't like doing half measures. So I went ahead and took it a little bit further, and now I've even shown you how to do 2FA. So again, Clerk, sick, has all of this powered up. And for those of you who are curious, yes, it's a keyboard avoiding view. I even addressed that, right? But if we click on sign up right now, I'm going to go ahead and do a little test. I'm going to do sign up, Sonny.Sangha plus YouTube at gmail.com. And I'm going to go ahead and pop in a password right now on the machine. Let's go ahead and click on create account. And you guys will see, boom, I get a verification code sent to my email. That is pretty damn sick, right? So I'm going to go ahead, and Jay saying high pitched voice. I know, dude. I'm going to go ahead and check my emails right now. And I'm going to hide it just so I don't show anything on the screen. But let's go ahead and see and I will show you guys how awesome this really is. So can I get that full screen? All right, but basically I'm going to show you that the verification code has in fact came in. So I took a screenshot of it to pull it into the screen. And just like that, guys, look at this. We have our verification code. This is on my emails. Obviously, I'm not showing it for obvious reasons, but you guys can see here, we've got 677471. And let's go ahead and pop that in. And now if I was to go ahead and close that, 1 second. All right, so if I was to get ahead and then close that now, we're going to go ahead and do 677471. Verify the email. And then you can see, boom, we are logged in. So we even have 2FA backed in the mix, right? So absolutely powerful stuff. It is so, so cool. And we're going to go ahead and jump into it right now. Now let's break down this tech stack. Okay, so how are we doing this, firstly? And also, I want to say a massive welcome to all the OGs in the house. I can see you guys. We've got Marius, Lino, Siren. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. If you've been here before, you guys know the OGs are always coming in. We've got Frank as well. Zotan, this is absolutely awesome. Get ready. Danielle, what's up, guys? And this is absolutely awesome. So somebody goes, you're owing us a new Expo tutorial like the other one you did. This is going to be using Expo. Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be an awesome build. And again, all of the code for today is going to be available in the Papa GitHub repo. Or you can simply build along with me and get it for absolutely free. So let's go ahead and dive straight in. So I'm going to end this call right now to sort of prevent my computer from, I guess, blowing up at some point. It's fine, but I don't want to risk it. So first up, we have Stream. Stream is the API behind this. They're also a massive sponsor of today's video. So thank you to those guys. The team is absolutely awesome. They have amazingly powerful APIs and SDKs to build chat apps. Basically, you can do chat apps, video apps, and feeds, and that even includes live streams. So it's absolutely powerful what you can do with these guys. You can literally go ahead and scale up. You can see right now they have tons of massive companies. If you recognize any of these companies, you know you're in good hands, right? So that means that they have 99% uptime. They have a really tiny less than sub 9 millisecond latency as well. And the best part, which I actually like the most, is the out of box components that you can go ahead and use and simply plug and play into your app to get awesome user experiences. So you guys can see here for yourself, we've got custom UIs. You can go ahead and build whatever you want, and they give you all of the code snippets to go ahead and do so. So it's low level clients, backend SDKs, everything is out of the box ready to go, and I'm going to teach you how to do all of it today. And yes, if you're wondering, we don't have any backend service like Firebase or anything like that. We're using purely literally Stream, so GetStream, and Clerk. So these are the two things that we're going to need today, and both are absolutely free. So you guys can go ahead and build out the entire app. Mr. Frank goes, loving the excellent Zoom Expo build, #PubFam. Hey, that's what I'm talking about, dude. Appreciate you. Awesome, dude. Now we've got GetStream to handle the video feeds. This is going to be absolutely amazing. And the best part about it is your boy hooked you up. So if you go through the link in the description, you can get started today with $100 worth of free credits. And also remember, there is a very generous free tier with this as well. So you guys can literally go ahead and build it for absolutely free and host it inside of your portfolios and deploy it. So yeah, absolutely awesome. Why not? Go ahead and do it. And also I want to mention, remember I told you, you can have several, if we refresh this, you see the call ends after a while. If we went ahead and added, let's just say like, whether it was 100 users, 200 users, 100,000 participants, it will support it. That is wild, guys. It supports 100,000. So you can build your next, live streaming platform using Stream to do so, right? It even has all of the amazing features that Zoom and those kind of companies have, like recording, transcriptions, all that good stuff, and things like noise reduction and all of that goodness as well. So you're in good hands when you use Stream, and I'm going to teach you how to do it today. We also have Clerk. Clerk is honestly, they're my favorite. If you can't tell already, they're absolutely my favorite. And I'm so blessed that we get to work with these guys because one, the team is damn awesome. And two, the tech is just, the dev experience is just, yes, it is sick. Oh my God, it just works in every way we want it. And I'm bringing you guys the next level sort of features of Clerk now. So it's going to be a lot more of the advanced features. So you guys know how to do the simple auth. I'm going to show you things like 2FA. I'm going to show you things like advanced security. So stay tuned on this channel. Make sure you're subscribed already if you haven't, to make sure you do not miss out on any of this, right? So that means email and SMS one-time passcodes. That means magic links. That means the advanced stuff, the bot detection. That means the session management. We'll even be doing a bit of multi-tenant sort of work down the line, right? So a lot of stuff to come. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll bring it to you for absolutely free. And again, if when you get started with it today, please feel free to go ahead and use the link in the description, because it supports us on the channel and it tells Clerk that you guys are watching from these videos, which allows me to keep bringing the videos for absolutely free. Okay, so guys, let's jump into it. Let's break down the build. And at any point, if you find it tricky, just simply head over to papareact.com/course and join us over at Zero to Full Stack Hero for more in-depth tutorials and weekly coaching calls where I run through all this kind of stuff and break it down. I don't know what is going on with my voice today. It's like slowly going, right? Somebody goes, can the UI be customized? Absolutely, yes. I will show you how to do it all in today's build. Do not worry, my friend. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and move this phone on the side right now. And I'm going to go ahead and draft out a description. If you guys didn't know, I went to Japan recently. So I've got a big Japanese obsession lately. So that's why our background is this beautiful Japanese background. So let's go ahead and get the build down. So today we have React Native. You guys can tell I've done too much Next.js lately. All right, we've got React Native, and we will be using Expo. Now, Expo is going to allow us, obviously React Native allows us to do iOS and Android, but Expo is going to allow us to use things like EAS, which allows us to make builds really, really simple on Expo, right? And this means that we can use native dependencies without ejecting, right? So it's absolutely going to be really, really powerful stuff to learn in today's video. We also have amazing bits of tech. Like I said, we've got Clerk authentication to add in Google authentication. We're also going to be adding in username and password. So username and password. And we've also got 2FA, right? So we've got 2FA in the mix as well. Right. And also, guys, in case any of you are wondering, yes, I do have a Japan vlog in the works. I literally recorded the whole trip with my mom. You guys have got a very cool vlog coming out, so I got you covered, right? So this is all going to be considered on the front end, so up until this point. And then we're going to have the backend portion. The backend portion is going to be a bit of Next.js to handle the tokens that we need to basically prepare in advance. So a lot of things are going to be going into this build, right? So we've got Next.js as well. In fact, what I'm going to do is just go ahead and put the screen like this so it helps us out a little bit, right? Now, in addition to this, we have obviously Next.js to handle secure session management. So this is the tokens and how we basically provide tokens to GetStream. GetStream is going to be responsible for the video and audio calling, right? They also do lots of other things like chats and everything, but today we're covering the video and audio, right? So we've got 2FA, we've got authentication, we've got React Native, a bunch of different styling. Of course, you know, I'm doing things properly. We're doing it with TypeScript. So we have lots and lots to learn from today. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. I want to keep it relatively surface level of what we're going to do because I want to dive in. And what I've done today is given you guys a bit more of a helpful breakdown, which I feel, because I'm going to have to cut these simulators so I can actually work on the new project. So what I decided to do was I'm going to work in a way as if we were at a software agency. Okay, so let's say we're a software agency, we've got our designs. So in this case, we've got our screens. In this case, this is what the client wants. They want this built, and we need to go ahead and satisfy the client and basically build everything. So these are all the screens that we've been given. We've been agreed on an amount, and we're basically going to dev this for our client. So from this point, from screenshots, I will take you through and build the entire app right now. All I want is a simple hit of the thumbs up button, because a couple of hundred of you are watching right now and the like count is slacking. There's a bit of a lag, and I'm pretty sure that's intentional. So go ahead and destroy that like button and let's jump into this. So first up, we're going to go into what I want you to do is in the description, there is a link to Clerk where we can go ahead and get started with Expo. Okay, so I've already given you all the links in the description. Feel free to go ahead and head over to Expo, the quick start guide. All right, so we start off at Clerk. Now, if you haven't got MPX, you have to install Node on your machine. I'm not going to run through that because we've already done that. Oh my God, my pre-workout's kicking. Wow, I got the itchy feeling, right? So in this case, we've got the terminal here. So I'm going to do MPX create Expo app, okay? So, and let me know if the audio is good as well for the music in the background, all that kind of stuff, right? Giancarlo, what is up? Because yo, Sonny and Jay, how's it going? React Native is back. Damn. Labello goes, I started learning React Native 2 months ago, first time on live from Next.js. Amazing stuff. And remember, guys, if you're using Next.js, oh, you're in for a treat because Expo Router has now taken a level up and we can do some really cool things which are so damn close to Next.js. So all of the file-based routing that we're used to inside of Next.js, guess what? They brought that to Expo. So we've got Expo Router, all of the good stuff is working in there. So let's go ahead and pull up Warp firstly, okay? So here we have warp. This is our terminal. Honestly, you can just use a normal terminal. It does not matter. You don't need to use warp. Just open up a normal terminal, whatever the case. I'm just going to do this because it's easier. And then we're going to go ahead and do the following. So I'm going to go into my documents and build folder. You don't have to. I like to keep things neat. We're going to paste that. So npx create Expo app. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and call it something. So I'm going to say YouTube. Let's call this one Zoom clone, or let's just get video calling app, right? So YouTube video calling app, because we're basically doing a lot of different features there. Okay. And then we're going to locate the project files. We're going to install. It's going to do all that goodness. And it's going to ask us a bunch of questions before we get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and wait for that to get set up. You can see I use iStat menus. Nice little pop up there. Now, after that's done, we're going to have to install Clerk Expo into our project. But before that, don't skip this second step. You're going to need to do that, right? So let's go ahead and do that right now. Now, if any of you are wondering, what is React Native? How is Sonny doing the things he's doing? Is this the same as Next.js? Well, no. Remember, React Native is essentially we write one code base and it compiles down into different code bases. One for iOS, one for Android, and one for even the web. But we're going to ignore that one for now because I prefer to do Next.js out of the box. But right now we're going to focus on the two code bases that it creates, the iOS and the Android. So we code one code base with React Native, and Expo is the framework that we're using. And then it's going to compile down into iOS and Android, okay? So this will take a second to download. Obviously, there's a bit more dependencies involved in this. Once that's done, we're going to simply run npx expo install, and we're going to install our dependencies. Then we're going to install Clerk into the project, and then we're going to have to set our environment variables. So I think this is a very good point to actually just get started with things. So obviously here, your project is ready. CD into YouTube, and then we're going to do video calling app, okay? And we're going to type in code dot. Right, and you can see npm run Android, npm run iOS, npm run web. So we're not going to actually do that. And obviously, like I always say, make sure your workspace is nice and organized so you guys can feel free to, not work in a bit of stressful chaos, right? So keep things very neat. It's going to help you out in the long run. All right, boom, we passed over 100 likes. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Keep destroying that like button. I'll keep bringing the content, right? So we go into the app folder, and as you can see, here's our layout. Now, you can see the top level layout, the tabs. It's already given us a tab layout, but I just want to start the app, okay? So what I'm going to have to do is cut my previous app, so that's on a separate screen, and I'm going to go ahead and open my terminal. Command-J, click on output, and we're going to close these two. And here, I'm going to go ahead and do npm run start, and this will start the compiler, okay? So once this is done, let's go ahead and it will start something called the Metro Bundler. And this is the really important part. Well, firstly, we're using Expo Go. Now, this is good for the beginning, but eventually we're going to have to do something called create a development build. And that will allow us to use native dependencies. But this is fine for the beginning, right? Then we've got Open Android, Open iOS Simulator. Now, it's worth mentioning, if you are using a Mac, you can do the iOS dev, right? So we can actually use something called Xcode to get a simulator set up, and then we can press I on the keyboard to open up an iOS simulator, which is what you saw on my machine. So we saw this iOS simulator, right? If you haven't got if you've got a Mac and you can't seem to open this, simply open up Xcode on your machine or download Xcode from the App Store, right? So Xcode from the App Store. And make sure you follow the setups, you follow all the approvals, and you open it for the first time. It will ask you to install a bunch of different things. You're going to need to do that before you get started. Now, don't worry, Windows guys. If you're using Windows, simply download Android Studio. So you want to download Android Studio, and then when you open Android Studio, what I'm going to need you to do is I need you to go ahead and grab the More Actions button, click it, and then click on Virtual Device Manager. Click that, right? Once you're inside of here, you will see 0 phones in the beginning. You're going to click on plus, right? Now here is where you can select a demo phone, for example, Pixel 8 Pro. Click on next. You can download an API. So I'm using API 35. Click on next. And then we can set up our emulator. Now, what is this doing? It's essentially giving us test digital devices to test against. So if you're on a Mac, you can use both. If you're on a Windows, you can feel free to test this with Android phones, okay? And of course, the really nice thing as well is that if you have an iPhone, you can even use that to go ahead and test it if you even have a Windows machine, okay? So lots of cool workarounds here to make sure that you can develop the app that you need to go ahead and do. But we're gonna keep things simple for now. I'm gonna simply press I to open up the project on my simulator. And as you can see, it opens up a dummy project and it will bundle it together. I'm gonna move this one over here for now. And you can see it's on here. Now, if I want to open it in Android, I press A. And if I lose these commands at any point, I simply press question mark and it will ask me, it'll give me all the available commands inside of the terminal. Okay, so I click the terminal and press question mark. So hopefully that's helping you guys out right now. And I hope you're enjoying the pace. So as you can see, we've got tab layout. Okay, so we've got a tab layout. Now in this case, you can see it follows a very similar structure to what we're used to inside of Next.js. If we go inside the top level layout, what we can see here is really interesting. We can see a stack and then we've got two screens, stack, tabs and not found. Now, not found is going to be if we navigated to some not found screen, right? But in this case, if we go a level deeper, for example, inside of tabs, and we go into the layout here, what we will see is a tab layout. And that is what is responsible for these two tabs here. So you can see we've got two screens inside. We've got the tab for the index screen, and which will correlate to the index root. And then we have the tab explore screen, which will correlate to the explore route. So there's lots of little things that I recommend you just pick up. Don't worry if it doesn't make sense. Like I said, we cover all of this inside of my flagship course, 0 to Full Stack Hero, which is available at papareact.com/course. So if you do get stuck at any point, then make sure you definitely check us out. We cover React Native inside of this course, right? So it's worth mentioning that we have React Native inside of the course. Can't even bloody find that. There you go. We got React Native 101 course, right? And it's got Expo, it's got everything good inside of there. So all you need to jump into 0 to Full Stack Hero if you find things too tricky at any point. Okay, now let's carry on. So don't get overwhelmed by any of this. We're gonna break it down, make it super simple, okay? So first step, what I want you to do is we're actually gonna simplify the hell out of this. We're gonna make sure it's so simple so we can go ahead and start from scratch. Well, first up, go to the top level layout. Right, this HTML, in case you're wondering, is for if you render it on the web. I'm not concerned with the web version right now. We're going to basically be, assuming that you build a separate Next.js app for that. But in this case, we're going to carry on with the top level layout. Okay, so over here, we've got theme provider, stack, and stack screen. Now, in this case, the theme provider is all about the providing like if your phone is in dark mode and all that stuff. Right now, I'm not going to use it. Okay, I'm going to keep things really, really simple. And instead of all of this, I'm going to simply render something called a slot, right? Now, again, I'm not going to get so far into it, but all we have to understand is that a slot simply resembles a page. A stack in React Native resembles that behavior where pages are stacked on each other. Now, what does this mean? It means if I'm on one page of an app and I click through to the next page, notice how in a typical behavior would be that if I swipe back, I can go back to the previous page, or I can press the top header button to go back to the previous page. That is what we call a stack. When we use something called a slot, we do not have that swipeable back behavior. But in this case, it's okay. We're going to simply stick to that. We're going to get rid of this use effect. We do not need any of this for now. And I'm going to go ahead and remove all of this, right? You can go ahead and feel free to investigate and look into those if you wish. But again, I want to keep things so simple for you guys so you can basically follow along and it's just effortless, right? So in this case, this is what you should be seeing, right? Starting absolutely fresh. Now, the first step is I want to get Clerk set up. So head back over to our documentation that we were using earlier. I believe it was this one. The link is in the description. Head down and we're going to go ahead and install this one right here. This is actually if you want to use it for the web, but I'm not going to miss it out because some of you might want to do that. So Command J. Now, what I like to do is split terminal. So I have the one terminal and the other terminal. However, on YouTube, for the benefit that you can just read everything, I'm going to simply open up a second terminal. So just be aware that I have two terminals with the first one running the app. Okay, so I'm going to install the dependencies, and then once that is done, I'm going to also install this one, and this one is responsible for adding the Clerk Expo SDK. So first up, we're doing the authentication. Okay, it makes sense, and it's also going to be the best way to start off building the app. So let's go ahead and do npm install Clerk Expo. Okay, now while that's happening, we need to go ahead and create an account with Clerk. So again, if you head over to the link in the description, you'll hit this page. Now over here, simply click on start building for free, and this will take you to the next page. I've already done that, so I'm simply going to ask you just to sign in, and then I'm going to sign into my default account. And which profile am I on right now? I'm on my dev account, I believe. Let me quickly log into my account. I always get confused with the different accounts I have. Okay, yeah, now we're in. So once you've logged into your account, I want you to go to your accounts. I want you to create an application. Okay, now we're going to call this application video calling app. Okay, and here you can see email, Google, and you've got a bunch of other providers. Now, I'm not going to use any other provider. I'm going to keep it very simple today and just use Google. Okay, so with Google, I'm just going to simply click on create application. So we've got email and Google. And then here you can see, if we go to the top, we have Expo. And this is really nice. You see the documentation that we were following previously. You also have instance of looking at it here. So we just did this Clerk Expo step right now. Let's carry on with the next step. So here, they will even pre-fill your environment variable keys. So what I want you to do next is I want you to create a .env file at the package.json level. So click on package.json .env, and I want you to simply paste in this value. Now, notice how I'm not scared of showing you this. This is because this is a publishable key. Right, they typically start with PK. Now, a publishable key means that it's okay to show, right? So in this case, we don't care if this is shown. There's nothing dangerous that you can do with that, right? It's publishable key. It's a public key. Okay. So once we've done that, we're going to need that to connect our React Native app to our Clerk setup. Okay. So it's going to make things a lot easier. Next, we have to add Clerk provider to our application. Now, what I'd recommend is you simply copy it from the top. So you can see right here, if we go back over to our layout, I'm going to simply paste in the following. So we basically get our public key over here, and then we say, if there is no publishable key, throw an error saying you're missing a key that we actually need. Okay. So once we've done that, we need to simply load our Clerk provider and our Clerk loaded states. So I'm going to import that as such at the top of the file. So it's going to pull that in. And then we're going to simply wrap our slot around Clerk provider and Clerk loaded. So let's do that right now. So I'm going to simply put this in parentheses, pull this down, get rid of that, pull this over, and we're going to wrap it inside the Clerk provider. Now, this will work. However, in a lot of cases, we want to ensure that Clerk's loaded before we do anything. So we surround our app with the Clerk loaded provider, and this will basically act as if it will act as a blocking mechanism to make sure that the user is loaded. For example, it won't render any child content unless the Clerk API has loaded, which prevents a lot of unexpected behavior, right? It prevents that little flicker behavior that we might see sometimes. Now, once we've done that, we need to basically set up a token cache. And what this does is, on a user's phone, it stores the user inside of memory on the phone. And this is useful for a couple of reasons. What if I swipe and close my app and then I come back? I want to be logged in still. So we need something called a token cache. So let's go ahead and set that up. Again, Clerk make this effortless, right? We head over to our app. We simply pop it in like so. And while that's installing, I can read some of your comments. What's up, Andy B? We've got Eva Reina. We've got some OGs in the house. AJ Singh as well. Good to see you guys in the chat. Let's push to 200 views, guys. Absolute banger video coming today. All right. Now, once we've got this down, I want you to go ahead and we're going to create the token cache. So you don't need to worry too much about this for now. We're going to go ahead and expand the code. And I want to copy this portion right here. Again, all of this is in the documentation. You have access to everything that you can see. We even have Abo in the house. What's good, dude? Good to see you here. I'm going to do this actually above the publishable key. So in this gap here, I'm going to paste the token cache. And you can see we need to import secure store. Now, this one, to import it, we simply do the following. We say import all as secure store from Expo secure store, and we hit save. Right, and that will give us our token cache. Now, to connect it to our app. Very simply, we go to our Clerk provider, we type in token cache, and we simply pass it through like such. Okay, so we have the publishable key and the token cache. It's worth mentioning, by the way, guys, that at any point, if you want access to this code, I will be uploading it straight away after this live stream inside the Papa GitHub repo. The link for that is inside of the description, right? Yo, get you on the big screen. Jamie, what's good, dude? We got diamond members inside the house. That's what I'm talking about, guys. We are dialed in, and this is going to be a fun build. Let's go. All right, now the next step, we have the home root group layout. Okay, now the home, basically, you can see they've got this similar group notation, right? So this is similar to Next.js. If you know about group layouts, essentially what happens here is inside of Expo router, which is the routing system that we're going to be using today, everything is like a web page. Our first page that we ever open on the app is the index page. It's our / blank, right? That's like a web page. Same thing in React Native with Expo router, okay? Then if we go to like the contact me page, it'll be / contact me. Now, if we use this notion of parentheses folders, right? So in this case, if I was to create something like this, app /home / index, this is an invisible folder. So this root would actually correlate to /. If it was /home / contact me, this root would correlate to / contact me, not /home / contact me. These are basically invisible folders, okay? So I want to make it as simple as possible for you guys to understand. Okay, now with that done, we're not going to call it home. We're actually going to call it cool, because on the actual app, everything is based off that. I mean, we could call it home. Okay, we could call it home, make it easy, right? So in this case, ignore the tabs for now. We're not going to bother messing around with that. Instead, what we're going to do is we are going to create a new folder called home, okay? And inside of home, we're going to go ahead and call this one, and we're going to have an index file, right? So index.tsx. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this example right here. So we're going to go ahead and add a index.tsx. This is so easy to follow along, guys. All the code is there for you. You simply paste it in, and as you can see now, it's complaining. And this is the cool thing about when we're using Expo router. It says that this doesn't exist, right? This root does not exist. If I actually click into this and do /, you see how it's got a sitemap? So it actually tells me all the roots I have, but it says the one that you were trying to do doesn't exist. And the really cool thing about this in the example as well, one, we have the use user hook from Clerk, which allows us access to the user. We also have these signed in wrappers and signed out wrappers. Now this means that the children here will only show on the screen if we're signed out for this part. And then if we're signed in, it'll say hello with the user's name, okay? So lots of cool stuff. Marius goes, the type safety of Expo router is sick. It really, really is. It's honestly very, very powerful. I'm a big fan of it, right? Now, the tabs. I'm going to remove the tabs folder. Keep it simple, guys, right? Hit save. You may get an error at this point, so I want you to make sure that you go back to your terminal. And as you can see here, we've got a few things going on. Let's go ahead and click refresh. And you see, honestly, you're going to have to learn to be a bit more patient when you're working with Expo, right? And React Native. In this instance right now, you will get a couple of errors. You'll get a couple of instances where you might have to, for example, close the app. You see how it freezes sometimes? It's normal. It happens. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and close both apps, and I'm going to open it again with the I command. And then we are back to this example. This one is rendering where? Let's have a look. So we've got the layout, we've got our Clerk slot, we've got the index.tsx, and for now, I'm simply just going to go ahead and put this. So we've got some example of where to show this. Now, this is still loading the previous demo. I believe what we can do here is we can actually cut our server by doing Control-C and npm run start once again. And we should be able to go ahead and get things up and running one more time. Okay, so let's go ahead and do open iOS simulator again. So and now wait for this to go ahead and load. And oops, I've gone ahead and done some craziness there. So 1 minute, I messed things up. So let me do that again, 1 minute. So I'm actually gonna close this one and create a new terminal. I got into some weird edge case there. npm run start. And again, this is just something that you have to get used to. It's not as smooth as when you dev with Next.js. Just get used to it. I'm going to normalize it so you guys don't get weirded out. but it's completely normal that you'll come into some teething issues when you're starting with React Native. Any dev who's done React Native work will understand what I'm saying. That's why I like doing it live, showing you the actual reality of it, okay? So let's go ahead and close all of this. Let's do I to open on iOS. And now we should have the point that I wanted. Yes, okay, here we are, okay? This is better, right? So the screen doesn't exist, go to the home screen. And again, we have a bit of an issue where there's nothing being loaded, okay? So that's fine for now, don't worry. This is gonna be okay just for now, okay? So at this point, if we look over here, you can see Windows JS. That's a strange, interesting error because I'm not actually running it on the web, which is very, very interesting. Okay. Again, I knew the demo gods would be against me today. Okay, that's all good. We're going to still carry on and jump through with what we're doing. But what I do want you to do, guys, is before you do anything, just get your app loading, right? So if we were to render just a slot, you can see it loads this and we've got notfound.tsx. Let's just bring this back for now. So I just want to make sure that it's actually loading my app. I'm in a weird little corner right now. Example. Oh, what the hell is that? Okay, get rid of that. Put this outside the folder. So we've got at the top level. Do a refresh. And I've got my Android running. Okay, interesting. So I'm going to close my Android. And then, because we're getting mixed errors coming in. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so this seems to be a little bit of an issue with the latest update, I guess. With Expo router perhaps, so it's all good for now. In fact, what I'm actually going to do here is just to test things out. I'm just going to type in text. So we need to use these special components when we're doing any work with React Native, and I just simply want to get my home screen up and running, right? So in this case, right now, okay, demo gods are really against me right now. So event listener function is not defined. Okay, so this is very strange. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is I may do a fresh restart on this because this is annoying and I did a little bit of a slight deviation to my normal setup, which I feel has thrown me off. Let's go ahead and start from scratch. 1 second. So we've got HTML. In fact, with the HTML, okay, I don't really care about that, so that's fine. Inside of my layout, just want to double check my work here. So we've got our everything looking good. We're a bit of live debugging already, guys. We've got this. We've got the cloud provider. Okay, so I just want to double check now and just load up our app itself, right? So let's do this firstly. And let's just pop the index outside. And we just want to make sure we see hello world. That's our first point of contact. Right now, if we go package JSON, we actually have an entry point somewhere that I need to find that I believe this app's actually set up already on my behalf, which is not really ideal because I didn't want it to do that. And where is it? Let's try and find it, guys. If someone can help me out, it's gonna help me out. We can clear the cache as well, but there's definitely somewhere where it's starting the app pointing to something, and that is what has been started differently on this one. I believe it might have been, no, so that's actually correct. Okay, so let's start the cache fresh. So what we can do is we can do npm npx expo start, or actually you can do, I think, npm run start with the cache flag, but let's do it anyway fresh. So with Mario, that's correct. Yes, npx expo start -c, and this will clear the cache for us to get things started off with. Okay, and also, guys, I forgot to mention, actually, oh no, we are using that environment variable. There we go. Now let's start again. Let's do it again. If this doesn't work, I have another workaround. Don't worry. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and debug all of that as well live on the channel. So I believe that might have fixed it, to be honest with you. No, it didn't. Okay, interesting. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start fresh because I feel like that deviation has messed something up. Things are broken with new versions of Clerk. I have it working. That's the interesting thing. So what I'm going to teach you is to start from the point at which I started from previously. So don't do it from here. I'm going to show you from scratch from the Expo documentation itself. So let's do Expo, get started, and let's start here. Okay, so I'm just going to start very simply from here, and I want to get started with an example so we can get. So I'm just going to do cd. We're actually going to start from fresh again. Okay, we're going to do npx create expo app, and instead of this, I'm just going to type in YouTube. Let's just call it video calling app, And then we're going to start from here, scratch. Okay. Now there's a reason why I want to do this, because we didn't actually, oh, sorry. Try using your directory or name. Okay. So we've already done that one. Let's just call it main. It should have actually asked me if I wanted an empty template, which is the interesting part. So here, let's just do template blank. Yeah, because I think it definitely installed it with some other setup. So let's do template blank to start things off. I've already done that one. Okay, so let's just do, oh my God, okay. Let's do video calling app YouTube, right? So a little bit of live debugging, never hurt anyone to start off a build. You guys see it live, literally. Stay calm and just get on with it, right? So I want to stream in a minute. Nice, dude. Welcome back to the streams. Right, so let's go ahead and do it. Use template for getting template options. Yes, you're correct, actually. If you just put -- template without an argument, it would have come up with the template options. But we want a blank template. I don't want to start with anything. And then I'm going to show you from the first starting point with a 1 page, and then we'll get on with it from there, okay? So they added a script to make an empty. Yes, they did. Yeah, reset project, I know. Okay, so while that's happening, we take a breath and we just go ahead and take one step at a time. Now, install dependencies for the web. I'm not going to do this step. I'm not interested with doing it for the web right now, okay? So in this case, we're going to skip that step this time. So we're going to do cd, video calling app, YouTube, and then I'm going to open this up as well. So now open that up, close the previous one, and let's do this now. So Command J, go ahead into output, pull this, and we're going to do npm run start. Okay, very simple, straightforward. And in this case, we can close this app to make sure we've got a fresh start. Now, if I do open in iOS Simulator by hitting the I key, you'll see now it will bundle things up and it will open it up, okay? And we should see some sort of splash screen, so let's ignore that, it's fine, okay? And let's have it. Yes, there we go, guys. There we go, that's what I wanted. Command B, we go into our app.js. Oh God, this is giving me no routing. No, I don't want to do this. Okay. Oh my God. Let's do it again. I need the template. Wow. Okay. TypeScript template. Yes. Thank you, Aiden. Not Aiden, Omran. All right. Go back one more time. Third time's a charm. Okay. We're going to create the Expo. There we go. God damn it. They changed the setup before I went live. So npx create Expo app, video calling app. Let's just call this one final. Oh my God. Okay. That one. You got the template. And we should see, there we go, guys. That's what I wanted. All right, so do this command right there, okay? That's the one that we want, okay? It's the best live stream ever, exactly. All right, go to navigation, TypeScript, because we want the file-based routing with TypeScript enabled. Boom, there you go, right? So there we go, and that's what the chat is lovely about, right? Things will break again the moment you install the Clerk dependency. So no, I don't believe so. I have a workaround if it does happen, by the way, dude. We can just simply revert to a previous version, and then I can just tell the guys over at Clerk to fix the different version. So don't worry, we've got a workaround. But this is good. This is actually very good, because this is live debugging, which is priceless in my opinion, right? You guys get to see how I work through a problem. And obviously I've just reset the project a couple of times, but we can move past it, right? Video calling app, final. There we go, right? Now we're inside code doc, boom. There we go. Close that one. Get rid of it. John Gill, what's up, dude? Good to see you here, right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and start up our app for the first time, right? And this is going to work now. npm run start. Now, as we can see inside of app, we still have the tabs. Okay, I didn't want that, but anyway. We have the modal now as well. But let's look at layout. And we can see we've got a bunch of stuff. And then we have our stack screen. Okay. So, there we go. Boom. Okay. Now, with that, we can start to already have an idea of what's going on. So open it up on iOS, give it a second, get rid of that one. I for opening on iOS. And then let it do its thing. Okay, now we have tab 1 and tab 2. And we even have a modal as well, okay? So this is working. Now what I want you to do is we're going to go ahead. Yes, there are lots of updates when you do like your Android setup or iOS setup. There's lots of installations you'll have to do. So just take your time, and then when you've done that step and you've got your simulators running, come back and carry on. All of this will be timestamped as well, so don't worry, guys. Okay, so at this point, we've got the root layout with the theme provider and a bunch of other stuff. So here I'm just going to slowly dissect away what we don't want. I actually firstly don't want a stack. I want a slot. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that and import slot from Expo router. If we do this, you can see now it will simply just switch page, but you see how I can't go back. So the stack behavior is now gone, right? So it doesn't stack on a page, it just switches page. But for now, it's okay because I actually want that in the final app, right? Now, after that is done, I actually do not want a index like this, right? A tab, sorry. I just want to have one index file. So in this case, if I put the index outside of here and I was to simply get rid of the tabs folder, okay, and I hit refresh, you can see now we have one page and it says tab 1. So let's go ahead and go to this and we're going to simply type in text hello world. Okay, and as you can see, we have our first instance of a correct working app. Now we've got some style sheets down here, which is how you can do it. I'm going to be doing inline styling today. Okay, so let's go back over here and get rid of all of that. Cool. Styles does not exist. Yep, we're going to get rid of that as well. Now you can use native wind if you want set tailwind CSS. I'm not going to today because a lot of you have asked me to show you how to do it without it. So I'm going to listen to you and do it that way as well. So in this case, we've got that. So now go to layout. And I'm also going to get rid of the theme provider, okay? So get rid of that, hit save, and we should see that everything is okay at the moment, all right? So no issues as of yet. This is going to be, just call it the index screen. So let's just call this the index screen. And you see, sometimes you have a crash. It's all good. Don't worry. It happens, right? You're going to get this, especially when you're changing this many files together. It's all good. Now, to open up on iOS, and just keep making sure that you can get your app running. That's the screen we want. You see how it's in the corner in the danger zone? That's actually the screen that we want to start with. Very good. I know it may not seem like it, but it is. And if you're wondering how the hell do you get it out of that area, you can add something called safe area view and make sure you've got 2 imports here. Make sure it's the React Native safe area context import that you're using, okay? By simply adding that, you'll notice that after a simple refresh, so go into the terminal, hit R, now it will always be in the safe area, okay? So that's it. We've got the first setup done. Now we're going to install Clerk. So let's go ahead and simplify a lot of this bunch over here. So if we were to go ahead and do a very simple export default function result, root layout nav, we don't care about this one, to be honest. We're going to get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of all of this. You can use those things if you want, guys. I'm not going to bother too much with any of this. We don't want any of this yet. We're going to keep it very empty and simple so you guys can follow along very easily, right? And I hope that was a helpful little demonstration of me literally showing you guys. Don't freak out. Now you can do this one as well. Prevent discussion from more high before asset loading is complete. You can do that if you want. In this case, again, keep it super simple. Now, stable point, boom. Okay, we're not going to use the modal as well, so you can get rid of it. And also for components, I don't really use much of these. Obviously, in the not found, it's using some. It's using the themed component here. But styled text, I don't believe we're using anywhere. So you can get rid of a couple of these. But for now, just to not break much, I'm just going to delete as we need it, okay? So you guys can follow along and we can get the build going. So let's carry on. Hit the like button as well if you enjoyed that live demonstration of debugging, right? I do that all for you guys so we can make sure we can get through those problems together, right? So in this case, let's go ahead and get back on track with Clerk. So I want you to head back over to Clerk. So we're going to go over to Clerk. Now we're going to do npm install Clerk Expo, okay? So let's pull open our app. And this is the moment of truth again, because this is where things went wrong last time. npm install Clerk Expo. And it could be that the new version isn't right, so we can actually change the version manually until a fix is pushed in. It happens, it's all good. We've got our keys as well. So remember, we actually got our keys inside of the dashboard, guys. Remember inside the dashboard, here we had the keys. So I'm going to copy my keys, head back over, create a environment file at the top level. And then I'm going to simply go ahead and do this. Expo public key, publishable key. There we go. Okay. And then inside the layout, we can carry on and we can do the following. We can pull in our publishable key like so. Let's just double check. So it did install correctly. Great. Let's go ahead and do this. And right now it says missing publishable keys, right? And that's because we haven't actually pulled in the key itself. So we can check now. missing publishable key. And if we were to reload it now, you can see that's good. Okay, cool. And then inside of Clerk provider and Clerk loaded, we need to do the same thing. Now, again, this is where it broke last time. So let's hope it works. Let's go ahead and pop this in. I'm going to go ahead and do this. And let's pull the slot inside here and then Clerk provider like so. Okay. And we're going to simply import Clerk provider, import Clerk Expo. Nice. Hit save and hit a refresh. Okay. So we're getting that same error that we were experiencing before, which is very interesting. I'm going to check the package version. So 2.2.7, there is a change from the version that I was using. So I was using 2.2.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change it to 2.2.5. And just you guys, if you're following along with this, 2.2.5 is, I believe, stable. So what I'm going to do is do an npm install. And I will let the guys over at Clerk know that 2.2.7 seems to have a bit of an issue. So this didn't change any of the packages. That's the problem. I believe we can do it by doing an at install, but I think it's -c, is it? No. Okay. Anyway, let's try and continue on. So I'm going to try my best to. I think it will still work. I think this is more of an error on. Like I don't think that will break our flow, to be honest with you. So if we go through with this now, the only issue is we've got that safe area view. So if we go here, I just want to do a view, standard view. Get rid of this. I don't want components themed. So go to here and get rid of themed. We don't want that. We're going to download our own. Get rid of that. And even the text, make sure you're pulling it from React Native. Okay. So hit a refresh. And we have an error inside of our layout because I believe we're pulling it from components themed app to builds and themes can be. Okay, so we were using themed somewhere. Again, it's very annoying. I just want a blank starter point. Not found here. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of that. View, React Native, text, React Native as well. Okay, so just stay calm. Slowly debug one thing at a time. Head back into the app, get rid of it. And we also have an error inside of something else. So firstly, style text, get rid of it. I don't want it. Okay. And we have it somewhere else. Edit screen info. I don't care about that. Get rid of that. External link. We're not using it. Use client only value. These are fine. Okay. Hit refresh. Edit screen info is gone now. So I'm going to stop the server, run the server again. We're going to deploy the app as a development in a development environment. Yes. Okay. Open up with I. Now let's try again. There you go, guys. Okay, so like I said before, don't worry. Right now, this is just also worth mentioning, guys. That's a type error. Okay, so it's just a type error. So I've already told the guys over at Clerk to fix it, but it's a very minor type error. In fact, what I'm going to do is pull this back to 2.2.7. It's completely cool. Type errors are completely fine, right? It's a totally normal thing to be getting used to the bugs when you're working with React Native. Okay, don't freak out. All right, it's completely normal, right? So at this point, you can just go ahead and, I mean, this is a bit annoying because I want to hide that, but it's okay for now. I'm just going to power through with it, to be honest, because that is so frustrating. Okay, we're just going to ignore that for now. It's fine. All right. So next step is normalize it. Don't worry about it. It's good. Okay, so we're going to do the Clerk provided. That's cool. So next step is inside of our index. I just want to test out if you're signed in or signed out. Okay. The simulator isn't responding. Yes, I agree with you. That's the problem. Okay. Yes, I want to try this in Android as well. So I'm going to use something called Orbit, which is really cool. If you haven't used it, I definitely recommend you use it. Hit launch. I wish there wasn't these micro updates. Honestly, it drives me crazy sometimes, but it's fine. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to double check one thing on the side, guys. 1 second. Bit of live debugging. I didn't expect it to start like this, but it's cool. We can figure this one out. Okay. Right. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to uninstall the Clerk package, and I'll show you how I would do this, right? So I know that it's stable on the version I was using. So what I want you to do, and if you're following this tutorial, feel free to do the same, okay? So we're going to uninstall Clerk at Clerk Expo, and instead I'm going to install the stable version at, and I want to do, it was 2.2.5. Okay, so at 2.2.5. And now we're going to install this version instead. Okay, so this version was stable when I was using it. So there you go, 58 packages. If we go into our package JSON now, we're at 2.2.5. And then what I want you to do is go ahead and cut your server and npm run start-c. I think -c, I don't know if -c is going to work with it, to be honest, unless you do npx expo. But let's give it a try now, okay? So now we do I. So I'm going to close this one again, close it, and we're going to do I. Cool. Remember, if you're watching the replay of this, the timestamps will be available, so you could just feel free to skip this debugging section. Wow, it's already 55 minutes. That's crazy. Okay. Damn it. Okay, I mean, we got it. So it was that more. Okay, so it's 2.2.7. So there you go, guys. That's how you can get past it for now, and we can get through that error, okay? Thank you, Omran. But I don't want to ignore the logs. Instead, I want to kind of show you how you can use a stable version and then move forward. And I'm going to notify the guys that 2.7. So Jay, if you just take note of that, and we can tell the team that that needs a little fix, because that was pushed just before I went live, which was actually a big problem. Okay, so this is stable 2.2.5. Okay, now we can carry on. Let's power through now. Okay, so at this point, oh, smash the like button, because that was stressful, please. All right, we're through. So now I need to install the Expo secure store, and hopefully this ain't a problem either. This is actually only Expo's package as well, so it's not too bad. So at this point now, Expo install secure store. Let's go ahead and do that. We've done it. Now I'm going to go ahead and import the token cache above the token right here. Nice, Jay. And then we're going to go ahead and pull this in. So you guys can see here, we've got this. And what I want you to do is import all as secure store, right? And then we have the token cache. So at this point, the token cache, I need to connect like so. Token cache equals token cache. And then what I want you to constantly do as you're building alongside me, guys, is make sure, this one's fine, by the way, this is just Clerk being loaded with development keys, is hit the refresh button. And as you can see now, it says Clerk JWT was used, okay? So there you go. Now, it's safer to install the dependencies using npx expo install. Yes, you can. Right now, I'm just following the example they've given here. So just feel free to follow along as you wish, right? So in this case, we've done that. Now we need to create the layouts and all that good stuff, okay? So what I'm going to do is I've actually set it up where all of the app's contents are inside of a call folder. So anything which you're authorized to do is inside the call. We could call this the app folder, but it's kind of confusing. Or we could call it home, or we can call it like logged in, right? Whatever you want to say. In this case, I'm just going to call it call, because all of the app's functionality is call. So everything that is related to the call is inside of here. Okay, and I'm actually going to put my TSX file inside of that. And notice how nothing breaks. It just seems to work, right? And that's because call is invisible. So to the app, index still remains the same place, right? So, but the good thing with this is we can nest different layouts, okay? So in fact, what I actually want to do here is I want to have a tab layout at this level, okay? And I'm going to have like separate different tabs inside of here. So I'm going to have a index file, and I'm also going to have a join call button, a join call file. So eventually we're going to have, you see how we have two tabs at the bottom. We have add all calls, we have the join call, and then we also have a start new call. We're going to ignore that for now. I'm going to add that one in afterwards, okay? So let's go ahead and do it right now. React Native functional component. And if you guys are wondering how the hell did you do that, head over to your extensions and then type in ES7, I believe, or ES7, and then it's this one right here. So ES7 React Redux native snippets, right? Every time I do it, it's got like 1 million more views. It's crazy, right? So once we've done that, I want you to simply go ahead, and this is going to be called the join page, whatever you want to call it, it's all fine. And then here it's just going to be join. Now, as you can see in the corner, I don't know if you can see that, but it's basically, this is, I'm pretty sure it's there, right? So what I'm going to do is inside of this folder, I'm going to have a layout. So it works in a similar way to Clerk is 2.2.5. Yes, in case anyone's wondering, make sure you install that dependency for today's stream, and by the time you're watching this, it will be fixed, right? 2.2.7 onwards will be fixed, but 2.2.5 for now is a stable version. Okay, and again, this is totally normal, right? You just watched a live version, like live sort of example of how to fix that. Okay, so yeah, here I want to do. So we have the layout here, and then the next layout will be applying to all of the things inside of core. So let's do that. So I'm going to have a file called _layout.tsx. Okay, now inside of here, guys, all we do is we literally export another React Native functional component. Okay, and this one's going to be called the core roots layout, right? So core roots layout. Cool. Now once we've got this in place, we're going to go ahead and hit save. And you can see it just says core routes layout for now. This is not what we want to do. Instead, what we want to do is have the tabs being rendered here, right? So here, what I'm going to do is firstly, you see it's in the danger zone. Remember what I talked about, the safe area view, because every different device, remember we're developing cross-platform now for iOS and Android devices. We need to make sure that we have it in the safe area. Android has different phones with different notches. iOS has the little, dynamic notch now. So you need to make sure you're always in the safe area. So that's the first step. Cool. The next step, guys, is we want to go ahead and put in something called tabs, right? So this is a tabs navigator. Now, this is going to have children. So inside of it, we're going to basically be able to customize it accordingly. For now, I'm going to keep it very simple by adding in one example of the tab, right? So in this case, if we add in, if I was to actually leave this by itself, right, you can see immediately we have two tabs. So even if I was to have just the tab navigator, you might be wondering, how does it know that? How does it know this? Because it's using the file-based routing to actually showcase each of these, which is really cool, right? And it works perfectly in the way that we want. The only difference is safe area view, we have to style it accordingly and add something called flex1. So it knows that it can use the majority of the room. So that's perfect, right? And then in this case, I'm going to just do screen options. And over here, what we want to do is header show. Was it this one? Header show? No. Was it there? There's a little bit of a known bug as well. It's fine. We can fix that one. It's okay. Right. For now, anyway. Okay. So that's cool. Go into our index for now. Go into our layout. Okay, cool. So here we've got the tabs, right? So inside of our tabs, what I want you to do, guys, is right now on iOS, there's a known bug where you have this gap of header space, right? Now, I'm going to also pull open the Android emulator so you guys can see examples of both devices. So yes, I'm going the extra mile just to make life easier for you lot. So I'm going to open it up and we can see, and yes, it will take time as well. You got to be patient with React Native, right? But it's the price we got to pay, guys, if we want to get this done. Okay, so in this case, you can see we've got that a bit of annoying spacing up there, right? Well, in this case, I actually don't want the header to be there at all, right? So here, what I do is I say screen options, and then I can go ahead and say header, and I can render the header as a no object, right? And just like that, we have a full screen now, whether it's Android or whether it's iOS. That's exactly the behavior that I would rather have, right? I want full control over the style here. Now, what we're also going to do is eventually when we're on the call screen is going to be a dynamic screen with an ID that it gets passed through. So what I can do here is I can say if, let's do, sorry, it should be inside the screen options. If the root, right? If the root name is ID, we're going to not display the tab bar. Otherwise, we're going to display it as a regular tab bar, right? And this is because imagine when we're on the call screen. So when you're actually on the call screen, you don't want that tab bar, right? You want to get rid of it. So when we're on this screen, we're going to disable the tab bar. That's how we do it. Now, you might be wondering, how do we get root? Well, that comes through as a render prop, which is actually over here. So this comes through as something called a render prop. So this is actually the route. And then this overall component is actually wrapped in a parentheses, right? So now you have the route being passed as a render prop. Cool. Now you can use it inside of your rendering. Okay, so that's the final thing, and then a little bit of styling to the over. Thank you so much, Marius, because it says I got to go now, but priceless debugging with you. Surely going to check it later. Yeah, you can definitely go ahead and check it, guys. I do want to mention as well, right, and add in the tab bar label style, which is basically just going to be a couple of things for the padding and a few other areas. Now, I want to mention it here. If you press question mark, you can see if I was to go ahead and put in where is it? Select a simulator, reload, show QR code, C. Okay, now on your phone, all you need to do is pull out your phone, scan that with the Photos app, right? And then it will basically prompt you to open up download Expo Go, and you can actually start debugging it on your phone. So you'll be seeing this on a real device. So you can actually build alongside it, right? So very, very cool thing. I stupidly have the iOS beta, so it's not working for me. Yeah, I realized after, and then I'm too eager, and then that's why it's not working. But in this case, we're going to expand the tabs, and I'm going to start customizing each of these tabs. Now, the way we can do that very simply is we can have a tabs.screen element inside of this, right? So we're customizing our layout here. You might be wondering, we've got icons, right? Now, whenever you install Expo, by default, out of the box, you get these icons. So we can actually use a bunch of these icons. The first most important thing is the tabs.screen name. Now, if I was to put any random value here, it will freak out. Like it says no root named ABC exists. And it actually gives me the roots that I can use. And because we're in the cool area, you can see it's only got access to index and join. So again, what we do is we simply fix this to become index, right? Now you can see all calls is index, and then the second one is join. And as you can see, it navigates between the pages. Okay, so very, very nice. I was gonna say very, very demure. If anyone knows, they know. In this case, we're gonna have that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pop that in again, and I'm gonna say for this one, I'm gonna call it join, right? Now for this, a little bit more styling. For the join, I wanna have, no, actually, I'm gonna change it a little bit again, sorry. Don't do that one, do this one. For join, yeah, we're gonna have the title is gonna be join call. So when you're inside of here, if there is a title for the header, it would have been saying join call. So you can actually put that in if you want. The header title, enter the room ID would be at the top of the page. In fact, for that one, I actually did want it to show. So I believe you can do it. I can see we header shown is true, and I don't know if that will get overridden. Yeah, that gets overridden by this one. You can see there, enter the room ID, right? But anyway, I'm going to customize this ourselves. But if you did want to do that, you can have it that way as well, right? So that's how I'm showing you both examples. And then the icon, right? So join call, we've got the icons. So first off, that looks good. The only difference is I want to change the color. The color sucks. I don't want that color. I want the tab bar active color to be our themed purple. And you'll see me using this a lot throughout the build, right? So this actually is now a theme of purple now. And we've got our first bit of styling already done, right? So absolutely awesome. Of course, all the phone profiles just picked. Way to advertise yourself, Google laughing so hard. Yeah, and it's crazy, right? In this case, look at that. Both are working perfectly, right? So this is the benefit of using Expo. You code once and it works in both places. Cool. Okay, let's jump through now. So let's get the authentication bit done so we can actually dive into the nitty-gritty of the app, right? So first up, I'm going to click on the layout, the top level layout, create a folder at this level and call it auth. Okay, this is going to be for the authentication. Now, this is very, very important, guys, because this one is going to be responsible for where the user ends up. Okay, so basically, we're going to make sure that if the user's not logged in, they're always going to get basically set over this way, and then they have to log in, right? So first up, we're going to have a layout file inside of here. So underscore layout.tsx. And this is going to be a stack screen. So we're going to React Native functional component. This one is going to be called the auth roots layout. Okay, like so. And you can see that's the first one that gets loaded, right? Because I guess it's at the top of the file. Whereas in this case, it's just simply it's doing it based on alphabetical. But it works for us right now. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and do that. And then we're going to basically, we need the user's authenticated state. Now, as we set up the top level authentication in this layout, we have access to layout in the user's authenticated state here. If the user is not signed in, or if they are signed in, only then are we going to redirect the user to the call screen. Now, if I do /call, what you'll notice is it will direct us to, so make sure when you do redirect, you're pulling it from Expo router. And then let's just see here, guys, 1 minute. They've changed something else. So we're going to do /call. Okay. That's what you want to do. And that will make sure that if we're logged in, it will automatically redirect the user to the sign in page. Otherwise, they'll see this screen by default in the beginning. Okay. Bass, what's up from Amsterdam? Good to see you here. All right. Now over here, I want to do a safe area view. So safe area view, and then we're going to wrap in a stack navigator. Okay. So here, I'm going to have a stack navigator for the pages that will be here. And we're going to have 2 pages. We're going to have sign in and sign up. Okay, so first up, we're going to replace this with stack. So it's a stack navigator. This is going to have customized stack screens inside of it. So here I'm going to say stack screen. Let's do the first one, which is going to be for the sign in screen. This one correlates to the sign in screen. So we're going to have a sign in .tsx. Everything is file based, React Native functional. There we go. And we can say sign in page or sign in screen. Okay. And now what we can see, if we go back here, we're not actually seeing anything right now because the safe area view doesn't have flex 1. So we need to make sure we always give it a flex 1 so it knows that it has space to build. And as you can see, the first screen is rendered in, the sign in screen. Okay. Now that's all good for now. The second screen is the sign up screen. Okay. So the sign up screen. So I just want to say create a new account, header back and so forth. Now again, for this one, you can go ahead and show the header if you want, I believe, by just doing the following. You can go ahead and say header shown, and then you could do true. I'm not sure if it will show that because the top layout is actually overriding it. So that's fine for now. Oh no, sorry, we've done it here. Sorry guys. Here, if you do header true, look, you can see signing to get started. So if you do want to have it, it's fine. Too many screens to find. Route sign is triggering us because I did sign up, sign in. Oh yeah, oops, sorry guys, we need to sign up. We also need the sign up. Hey, we got fans in the house. I see you. Sign up.tsx, do React Native functional. And then we've got the sign up page. Or again, sign up screen. Boom. Okay. Keep that there. Okay. Oh, God damn it. What the hell? Okay. I didn't mean to unlock. There we go. Yeah. And then go over to, again, I for iOS. And then we pull it open. It will open up on the iOS device. Hit refresh. Okay, again, you're just going to run into these frustrating moments, guys. Like right now, iOS is tweaking. Right, so that again here, it's just frustrating sometimes. So sometimes you have to close it. I use Orbit to basically make life easier. I go back to my iPhone 15 Pro Max. I click launch and it will restart my simulator. So just get used to that, all right? And if you don't know what Orbit is, just Google Orbit iOS simulators and it'll start showing you what I'm talking about. If you click on I for iOS, there we go. So sometimes you just have to hard reset and then we're back, okay? Now we see the hello world because the user, I mean, we shouldn't be seeing that actually. So here, the index, hello world. Let's go back here. So I guess we are logged in. Okay, so it thinks we're logged in because obviously I've been logged in the previous example. So what I actually want to do now is inside of index, I want to check if they're signed in. So if signed in, then I'm going to render out a text saying you're signed in. So let's go ahead and do that. Hit refresh. Hello world. So we're not actually signed in. So let's go ahead and do signed out. So if you're signed out, you're signed out. Okay, so you're actually signed out here. So we need to make sure our layout points to the right initial screen. Okay, so let's go to our layout. And we're going to do /. So we're signed out by default. Okay, that's fine. And let's go here, continue, get rid of this, sign out. I just want to double check something. Hit refresh. Yeah, cool. So, okay, that makes sense. So we're not actually being directed to auth yet. So we can do it 2 ways. We can actually say at this level, what I'll do is inside the layout here, we can do a check here as well. We can say get the user. If you're not signed in, then redirect you to the auth. Okay, so let's do that. So look, there you go. So an auth doesn't exist. We're going to redirect them to sign in. So let's go to the home screen. And as you can see, it's sign in to get started. Okay, so go back to home screen. Now if we go over here and we do header shown false, boom. Okay, we're back. Oh. All right, quick water break. I'll be honest, yeah, because that was crazy, man. That debugging was insane. All right, let's come through. Jay, stop it. Stop it. All right, let's carry on. So we've got the sign-in screen live. So now what I'm going to do is get the sign-in working. So lots of stuff happening. So first up, I want to go ahead and get the text input for the email and the password. Now, it's worth mentioning, guys, that for all of the email and sign-ins and stuff like that, they have great examples here. So we're actually going to use this as a perfect starting template. So inside of that starter setup, right, that we talked about here, so you guys can see it, create a new group called this, redirect users to homepage if they're already signed in, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now, I'm going to do here. So off sign up, yeah. So firstly, we're going to do a sign in page. I prefer this one. So down here, I want you to start from down here. I want you to get the button, the don't have an account, signed up, all of that. But basically just grab the entire thing, right? The entire view. And I want you to go back into sign in. And I'm going to simply paste it like so, right? And we're going to start importing things as we need it. The button from React Native and the link as well, right? And then we need the email and password in our state. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. We also need the state. Now, as you can see here, we've got the state over there as well. So we've got the email and the password, and all this is doing is using React state. Okay, so there we go. So you don't actually need to say .react. You can just do that and do a import statement like so. And then on sign in press, we need to go ahead and create a function for that. Now, again, they have given us a very nice sign in function. We can do this one. It's a callback function as well. So get rid of that. We need to use callback is loaded, right? Is loaded is actually being pulled from use sign in. So we need to make sure that that is present as well. So let's go ahead and pop that one in. Again, Clerk providing all the goodness here. You guys can see it's loaded. It will not do anything if it's not loaded, sorry. And when we try and sign in, it will pass in the email address, password. If the login was successful, it will redirect us to the home screen. Now, the home screen is going to be the index. So wherever the index is, again, remember, these are invisible, so it'll pass us through to here. So that's fine once we logged in, but we need the router, which we don't have. So we do const router equals use navigation, like so. And then that gives us the router. Router.replace is not a thing. It's actually going to be router. It's not push, it was so I've not done, what did I do? What the hell? Use router. Did I do it from React navigation? Yeah, oh, use router, sorry guys, sorry. Use router. Okay, boom. And this one will be router.replace. There we go. Okay, cool. Now, if this was incorrect, so ABC, sign in, you'll see error. And this is because, look, you can see here, identifier is invalid. Okay, so we don't actually have that working right now. So first up, I actually want to make sure that for this app, we've connected up our correct publishable keys. Let's just double check that we have the correct key inside our M file. We do have the correct key. Yeah, cool. So that's fine. And if we do at gmail.com sign in, we should see could not find your account. That's good. Okay, that's what we wanted, right? So instead of doing that right now, I'm just going to go ahead and say some kind of like, oops, something went wrong. Now you can use the alert message, but good rule of thumb is to actually take the error message and handle errors on the front end, right? You shouldn't actually trust what comes from the back end. That sounded so bad. Click on import that right now. And right now it just says, whoops, looks like you've done something wrong. Okay, so try again. And that's fine. And we're just going to simply not log out the error because I don't want to show an error on the screen. Next up, if you click sign up, it simply links us to /sign up. So remember, we're inside of a stack. Okay, so right now you can see we're inside of a stack. Okay, now in this instance, I want to have, so if we go to the home screen here, sign up, you can see I have got that sign up, that header. The reason why we got that header is if we go back to layout, guys, you'll see that I didn't do header shown false, right? So that's why this is a stack. This is why a stack's really good, right? And you see we can even swipe back and so forth, right? I am using the router from the Expo router directly. We are, oh, you mean like here, router? Can you? I like using hooks, but I mean, it could work. I haven't tried it, to be honest. Anyway, we have too many distractions for this. All right, let's carry on. It just takes a bit of time. I think I have PTSD from a recent reform. Yeah, it takes time. But once you're through, it's pretty smooth, right? Okay, so let's carry on. So at this point, for the safe area, head back to layout for auth. We're going to style the background color. So here, background color. Let's go ahead and give this our nice purple that we have. And obviously you can put this as a constant somewhere to save yourself the hassle. That'll make it a little bit easier. Okay. Now inside of the sign-in screen, this is where we're going to do a bit of magic now. Okay. So inside of our sign-in screen, we're going to go ahead and firstly say, I want a bunch of styling inside this view. Okay. So accordingly, we've got some style being applied. Flex one, use up as much space as you can. Justify the content in the center, background color purple. Okay, and this obviously looks horrible right now, so it's hard to read any of this, but we'll make it good. Okay, first step as well is I want this to be a keyboard avoiding view. Now the reason for this is when you're using phones, anything like that, what you need to be aware of, guys, is that you may not think about it when you're deving, but if I was having a kind of an input field down here, and I open up the keyboard with Command K, you see how eventually, sometimes it could actually hide the input field. You want to push everything up. So you use something called a keyboard avoiding view. Now, when you do that, you need to make sure you put this line of code in and import platform, because we need to use the padding option for the behavior when we avoid the keyboard avoiding view and so forth. So what this does is now it makes sure that even on an iOS device, if I go ahead and do this, look at that. You see how it pushes up? That's much better, right? And it works for this as well. You see how it pushed everything up? That's great. So every time you've got any kind of form or thing like that, you want to make sure you do the same thing. Okay. I have 18 different Gmail accounts. Yeah, digital alchemist. It's this, honestly, I get it, dude. It's crazy. I think it's Steven, right? I get confused with all the usernames now. Guys, we're almost at 200 likes as well. I appreciate you, right? And we're actually smashing it. So obviously there's a bit of a hiccup in the beginning, but again, timestamps to get through all of it, right? So first up as well, I want to have a nice little video chat icon at the top to make things look a bit better, so we don't have to stare at that ugliness, right? Go ahead and do that. Import like so. Expo vector icons like so. Hit save, and as you can see, boom, right, we have a little bit of an icon now. Again, what we are designing right now, guys, is this screen right here. So we're building this up. Okay, so next up I am gonna do the text inputs. Okay, so for both text inputs, a very simple bit of styling. I'm gonna pop them in like so. So auto capitalize, yes, because we are doing the email address here. Very simple styling. You can just pause the video, have a look for yourself. The same styling for the password field as well, guys, right? Now here, if I type in, you see how it's hidden because secure text entry is true. John Gill goes, amazing, that's my lunch hour over. I'll be building this clone hopefully next week. Thank you again for the help you offer here. Have a great weekend, Papa Fam. That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much. Right, I bet he went on a monk mode. Yes, I did. I actually went on a monk mode in Japan, right? I took a bit of time out. So I'm back with a full set of energy now. Okay, so we've got the email and password being set on change text. All good, right? The only thing is now, when we have these items next to each other like so, I want to space them out. Now, there's two ways I can do it. I can either in the top parent add something called a gap. And this one will basically go ahead. If I do 10, don't do that like I did. It will give everything a gap. Now you might be wondering, hang on a minute. Flex is flex row, no? Why is it stacked? Well, by default on the web, when you do flex, things go in a row. By default on a phone, flex is always column. So it's a rule you have to remember. So when you do flex direction, you actually have to tell it on a phone, go in a row. And if you think about it, it makes sense because on a phone, you've got vertical space, whereas on a website, you've got horizontal space. So it only makes sense by default, you'll flex column instead of flex row. So in case you're ever wondering why that's happening, that's why. Okay, cool. Oh, banger. I like this song. Okay, so at this point, we're going to go ahead and have a little divider as well. So I'm going to go underneath the text input. Boom. This is going to be a little divider, simple line, easy as. And then we have a styled button, right? And the reason I've done styled button is because I don't want this button, right? I want to show you how to create a custom styled button. Then you can go to your heart's content and create that as much as you want, right? In this case, I'm simply going to go into my components, Here we've got a bunch of these extra things. I don't care about this for now. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new one called styled button.tsx. React Native functional, and this is going to be our styled button. Okay, and what I want to do is I'm going to close that. This styled button is going to take a couple of things. It's going to take a, sorry guys, 1 second. It's going to take a title, on press, and a style component. So let's go ahead and do our style button here. Boom. Sorry, like this. It's going to take these three things. We have to add the type definitions for them as well. This is going to actually be an any object because we can pass in any style reference. The on press is simply a function. And just like that, we've got it right now. Again, for this bit, we're not going to use a button. When we're using anything React Native, we're going to customize it. We can use something called touchable opacity. And what this does is it basically means when I touch it, it will go pause. When it goes, it will basically, when I press it, the opacity will change to reflect the click. Okay. So in this case, when I click it now, this will go ahead and do that, right? So we've got the text inside of here, and I'm going to pass the title in, title like so. Now for the touchable opacity, we're going to add a bit of styling in like so. And then basically I've got my default styling, and then any styling you pass in will override that styling, okay? And the same thing for the text, except obviously it's going to be preset. So let's do that. And again, this is just like a reusable button we can use everywhere. And then on press will be passed through from the prop that we pass in. The only thing optional here is the style prop, okay? Now, all good, right? We've got that. Now, if I go to this and I go ahead and change our styled button to the following, right? So I change it to the styled button. Now you'll see we've got a nice styled button, okay? And then when we sign in, it will go ahead and try to sign me in. So that's a lot cleaner as well. And we can use that button, reuse it in a few different places. Now, underneath that styled button, we're gonna have an OR button. The OR is going to basically reflect this, and then we're going to have a sign in with OAuth button there, another divider, and then don't have an account, sign up. So let's firstly build that out. So we've got the OR, which is pretty easy, and then we're going to have a sign in with auth, right? So this one is going to be to do, so we need to basically build that. Underneath this, we're going to have a divider. So let's go ahead and pop that in. And then underneath all of that, we're going to have the do not have an account, right? So firstly, for the styling here for the view, let's go ahead and pop it in like so. So don't have an account, sign up. Firstly, the text underneath here, I'm going to go ahead and pop it in. Again, these are like, you don't need to be a magician to understand what I'm doing there. Color is white, font is bold, text decoration underline, right? There's no need for me to slow the entire build out by showing you that stuff. You guys can literally pause the video and have a look at it for yourself. I'm just changing minimal things there, okay? This is just a link, href. So now if I click it, boom, I go over to the next screen, okay? Very simple. Now, before we continue on, I want to finish the Google sign up, and then we will do the sign in flow accordingly, okay? So for, let's do the, actually let's do the sign up because they've already done the hard work for us. Okay, so let's do sign up. Yeah, so sign up. And this, by the way guys, this out of the box gives us the 2FA, so they've already handled it for us, right? So literally copy the sign up example here, paste it. Okay, now this sign up example is full-fledged. Like if I save it and I go to the sign up page, you can see I've literally got this. And by the way, guys, out of the box, that's using, so firstly, just do a little kind of cleanup. I hate this. There's no need to do that. You can import, use state accordingly. No, what? Don't do that. Don't do that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Boom. Okay. Yeah. So that's a lot cleaner. Now this, by the way, if I was to put in an email here, so let's just say sonny.sangha +1 @gmail.com, pop in a password, ABC, sign up. Yeah, look what it does. Well, firstly, it's not secure, I don't think. Password has been found on the, please use a different password. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop in a different password. Let's just pop in a random crazy long password, sign up. And now you can see it will send a code. So this will literally send me a code in my on my desktop now, so I can actually see that code right now. And it's a real code. So it actually sent me on my emails that code right here. So this code, as you can see on the screen, okay? So if I was to pop that in, I would sign in, Okay, so I'm not going to do that because obviously I need to complete the rest of the flow, but let's style this screen up. So firstly, that's how you get that page. And then let's just style it up accordingly. And then we can fairly quickly move forward. So that's the 2FA already done. So literally not much more to it than that. Keyboard avoiding view. Let's throw that in. Let's pull that in from React Native. Let's pop in the behavior for the iOS, which is that exception that we need to add in, and a bit of styling. We need to import platform like so. And if we go into sign up, boom, that looks a lot cleaner, except again, ugly looking stuff over there. Now here, instead of a React fragment, I'm going to add in a view. I'm going to add in some styling. Just a simple gap between the text fields is good. And then for the instances here, again, the same styling here and here, which is going to be the style accordingly to style up those input fields. Now, the only thing I haven't done there is background color is white. So I actually screwed that up. Sorry, 1 second. I copied the wrong bit. I should have done the enter text. Okay, so I wanted to actually do a text field above it, which was something like this. So import from React Native. So just gonna enter your details to get started. And then for the text input, that is where I have my styling element. So here and here, or I'll just do it here and here. Come on, here and here. Pop it in. So a bit of styling. There we go. And again, for the styled button, I can very simply just say styled button instead, import my styled button, and boom, we have it. See if I click sign up, boom, we get this error now. Enter email address. Again, for that, I'm going to go ahead and do an error down here. So for the on sign up press, I'm going to have the error from the backend. I know we said we shouldn't do this, but again, I'm showing you both examples, right? So here, this will basically go ahead and show us what we did wrong. See, enter email address. So this will go ahead and give us the trusted backend behavior. But in that case, what I would actually do is check the error code and then do it accordingly and so forth, right? So that's fine. And then we have the on press verify. So this is for the 2FA. Here I'm going to say, looks like you entered the wrong code instead of what we have here. Okay, so very simply just handling that accordingly, right? Now, if I was to test this out, Sonny, oops, so you see the email there as secure text entry. I don't want that. Why is it doing that? So it's saying secure text entry, which is not what we wanted. False, yeah, secure text entry, false. So ABC, yeah, +11, yeah, at gmail.com. And then some long password, sign up. And then you can see here, verify email. So we need to style that one. So you see pending verification down here. Let's go ahead and style that. So first up, I'm going to say that a piece of text was sent over to you. So that's going to be this verification code. And obviously, as you can see, we've got hot reloading, which is awesome, right? We've got someone saying, hello, Pop Fam. What's good, dude? Good to see you here. Oh, our playlist finished. Let me go ahead and restart the playlist. There we go. Boom. All right. So the text input here, bit of styling, and then the button, again, styled button for the win. Bam. Okay. Now, if I put in the wrong verification code, you can see there it comes through. Now, someone random just got sent that email. That's fine. So firstly, that's how you sign up, and it will work the entire flow, right? And then you will get stored in the token provider in our top layout file. So here we have the token cache. So we'll keep track of the user if they're signed in. So that works, the sign up flow now. Okay, this perfectly works. What we want to do next, the sign in flow will work. It's the OAuth sign in button. Okay. So again, what we have here, guys, is Clerk have made it so easy for us again, is if we go into continue to the Expo guide, there is actually a very nice sign in example that we can use for the OAuth. Where is it? We've got, if we go down here, one-time passcode, pass keys, emails. Look at this. It's amazing what we can do. Social connections here, right? So if we go to social connections, detailed guides, we can see here we've got Google. And then if we go down to, we've already done all that. We don't need to do that. There's a great example of this in sign in with OAuth. Okay, there is a great example of it in the code somewhere. I will show you otherwise, but was it here? I don't think it was here even. I think it might have been in social connections. custom auth. Here we have the shared credentials, learn more. There is a very nice, yes, so this is if you're going to deploy to production, you have to do all of that. But I want to, I mean, look, I'll show you the way I found it. It's somewhere in the documentation. I definitely did find it very easily, actually. I think if you go down, I believe it might be down here. Client components. Oh, it's somewhere here, guys. Honestly, it's somewhere here. I ain't gonna spend too long trying to find it, but if we do home guides, it was for Expo. Yeah. So go down here. I think it was here. Sign in page, enable OTA updates. OAuth with Expo. Here we go, guys. Before you start, boom. Okay, Next.js Expo. There we are. Expo linking, right? This is what we need to do. So to create the Expo auth login flow, so Google basically, we need to go here, install Expo linking, go down, and this is the one we need. So sign in with OAuth, right? Very simple. Copy this example, right? Literally, they handle the whole thing, and you can basically read the documentation if you want to check for yourself. But inside of components, create a new file, call it sign in with oauth.tsx and paste. Now this entire thing will basically render a button, sign in with Google. We can go ahead and customize it. So I'm going to basically do it right now. I don't care about the view. I don't care about that. I just want this to be a styled button, which we've already done. So styled button, import it, and that's boom. That's it, right? Sign in with Google. And this, without even much customization, will literally do what we wanted, right? Obviously you can refactor this accordingly to get rid of any unnecessary things, to make it a bit cleaner. Have the import statements like so. So very, very simple. But basically, if you look at this, it's warming up the Android browser to go ahead and make sure it's a bit quicker on Android. And then this is the overall strategy. So you can look at this yourself, fairly straightforward, a try-catch block, and it basically starts the OAuth flow. If it's correct, it will set our session and so forth, right? So once we've done that, let's go back to our sign up flow and underneath, our sign in flow. And underneath the sign in divider, so underneath the or, here we have it here. So where we had this sign in with OAuth, remember we had that, just import our sign in with OAuth, and boom. Now if I click it, watch this. Expo wants to Google signing to wants to use Google to sign in. Go here, I can literally log in, and straight off the bat, boom, I am now signed in. And in just a second, we get redirected because we hit this button over here. So we hit this layout. So at the top level layout, here, if signed in, redirect to /call. If I hit a refresh now, you will see we get thrown straight to this page because we're signed in. Amazing, you are signed in. Perfect stuff. Let's do it on here as well. Sign in with Google. Look, we get pushed over here, Sonny.Sangha. Let's go ahead and log into my Google account, and boom, we are in. It says this screen does not, oh, that's because this is not the up-to-date. When it says cannot connect to Metro, you need to make sure you restart your build. So right now, that was actually the old build, but the token is still there now. You are signed in, okay? So this is looking great. It's working pretty awesome at the moment. So change the Clerk version to 2.2.5. Yes, exactly. Digital Alchemist, make sure you definitely do that. Otherwise you will fall into an issue. And everyone's at Hein as well. Yeah, see guys, it definitely works. We're already in contact with the team to let them know about that little error. It is a little error. They'll be fixing it by end of day already, so you don't have to even worry about that fix. Right, let's carry on. For now, at the top of the page, so we are logged in, right? I want to create the log out flow, and then we can build the entire video calling app. That's okay. I know it sounds crazy, but we're going to build the entire app there. All right, so first up, I want to actually, inside of my inside of the index.ts, I want to build the ability to log out, so we have a full authentication flow. Firstly, I don't want to have a signed out one. Right now, it just says you are signed in. If we were signed out, it will kick us back to this signed out page, right? Which is awesome. But I actually want to have the ability to sign out on my own accord, right? So the way we can do that right now is I'm going to have a touchable opacity, right? So first up, I'm going to have at the top here, let's just have a, I'm going to have a touchable opacity. I'll show you right now. Touchable opacity, import this like so. set dialog open. You might be wondering, what is he on about? Well, first off, right, if we were simply to get rid of the on press here and do a refresh. So let's pull this in, you can see. So again, you see how it's not refreshing? R, press R and on the in the terminal. So click terminal, press R to refresh all your apps. Sometimes it can happen, especially when you're switching around. And you can see we have the little exit sign. That's because I'm absolutely positioned it top right, 2020 spacing, to top right, 2020 outward. And then we got Z index to make sure it's above everything. So I want that in the top of the corner. Cool. And I'm gonna have a piece of state to keep track of if the dialog box is open. Now, what dialog box am I talking about? I'm gonna say, are you sure you wanna log out? Okay, now in order to do that, so first up, if we do this, now this will actually set a piece of state to true. Now that's cool, but we want to handle the React Native dialog. Now there is a great package called React Native dialog that we're going to use, right? And it's basically responsible for working cross-platform, and it's very, very simple to install. We do npm I React Native dialog. So we take it over, Command J, head over to the second tab, and we install npm I React Native dialog. Cool. Now once that's done, this will install the dependencies that we need. Now you may, at this point, experience a little issue when we start using it, right? And this is where we start needing to do some development build stuff, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Right now, what I need you to do is we're gonna go ahead and basically add the dialog container into our app. So if you see here, we import dialog from a React Native dialog, hit save, and go back down, and you can see here we just basically pop the dialog container. Now I've customized it accordingly and added our state inside of it, right? So what I'm going to do here is underneath the touchable opacity, the dialog container. Now think of this as a piece of like a component which is rendered on the page, but it's not always visible. Visible dialog open by default, it's false, so it'll be hidden until we click the button and we set the dialog open to true. Then it'll say sign out. Are you sure you want to sign out? On pressing the cancel button, it'll close it. But if we press the OK button to sign out, then we're going to sign out itself, right? Now, in order to sign out, we're going to use our handy little sign out from use auth, which is provided by Clerk. So Clerk, again, abstracting all the complexity here. And if I click this now, are you sure you want to sign out? If we click cancel, it just closes. If we click sign out, boom, we hit 200 likes. Let's hit 300, guys. Come on, keep smashing that like button. If we click sign out now, look at this, boom. Okay, our sign up flow works. If I hit refresh by hitting R on the keyboard, bam. If I sign in with Google, don't worry about the sign in with development keys, it's fine. Accounts.google, papareact.team@gmail.com, log back in, and then we'll redirect to the index page, and we are signed back in. And the whole flow is complete. We have authentication done, all right? And if you, in case you don't believe me, that will work even if you create a new account. So I'm going to show you right now, sonny.sangha@gmail.com. Let's go ahead and pop in a password. So I'm going to go ahead and pop in a password right now, just to go ahead and prove to you that this works. Email address is already taken. Ooh, interesting, right? So if we do plus 999, boom, sign in. Okay, verification code has been sent, right? I'm actually going to go ahead and pop open my email right now, and I'm checking, and then right now the code is 369891. And whenever you copy on your clipboard, if you just click here, you can see paste, verify email, I'm signed in. Okay, so you guys can, that's proof in the pudding that you can do it, but I want to make sure I've signed in with Google because I get all the nice extra token stuff here. So let's just sign in and we can carry on, right? So authentication flow done. Right, GetStream is next. So Clerk, firstly, thank you for making that easy. Little slip with the versioning. However, if you're watching it, it will be fixed by the time we get to it. So do not worry, guys. It's all good. Okay, now, after all calls, we have sorry guys, that's a weird little alarm noise. Is that the song? Okay, threw me off. I could hear like a little alarm. I was like, what is that? Live stream problems. Live streams being, this is the reality of a live stream, right? But let's fly through. All right, we're doing pretty good now for pace. All right, so platform looks awesome. Yeah, honestly, guys, it looks really great. Now we've done that bit. Now the next step is let's go ahead and get I think let's get our first call up and running because it's funner, right? Let's get the fun bit going. Let's do the start a new call. Okay, so right now we've got all calls, we've got join call, but we don't have start a new call. I want to get the fun stuff running and I want GetStream integrated. So at this point, we have our index and our join. The middle tab, I'm going to call it id.tsx because I actually need it to be reactnative functional. I need this to be the call screen, right? So let's go ahead and do that. And as you can see, guys, ID is there, right? And if we go to the call screen, remember I deactivated if we go to the layout here, I actually said if the root name is ID, then deactivate. And as you can see, if I get rid of it, it's there, right? But that's because when we go to that screen, I want it to be full screen without the tab there. So when we click that, it will deactivate the tab bar. Okay, which is great. We want that. Now, the only thing here is I want to change the ordering. So what I do is I can basically make the tab. So we've got the ordering here. So we've got 1 and 2, and then 3rd is being rendered after. What we can do is here, I can go ahead and add in a 3rd tab. So let's go ahead and add in a tab screen, which correlates to, let's just close this up. Like so. And as you can see, we've got the ID in the middle now. So it's 1, 2, which being the ID screen, and 3, right? This is a wildcard, so any value can go there to reflect the ID. Okay, sorry, I'm getting tripped out. All right, now we're gonna start a new call here. So we're gonna say start new call, but obviously we're hiding the title. But again, I'm showing you in case you just want it, right? Now there is a very important thing here that I wanna mention. When we go back and forth between tabs, it does not refresh the component. Like it won't unmount and mount, because tabs are basically like, if you've loaded it once, the iOS is like, why should I bother mounting it again? So for the call screen, it's going to be dynamic, meaning every time that you actually go onto that call screen, I want it to remount. So we need to unmount every time. And in order to do that, in the options, what we do is we say unmount on blur true. And that will basically make sure it unmounts, right? Then we need to do header is equal to null. I don't want a header here. And then for the tab bar, I've got an interesting one here. So tab bar, I actually have a little plus circle, I believe it was. Yeah, so, okay, this one's interesting. So basically you see the design here that we have. So this little plus, I've done a little bit of a hack here with a bit of styling, and I'll show you what I've come out with. So this is what I came out with, but if we go ahead and import view, import the font awesome, and then here. So this right here is a little bit of a hacky approach, but you can see all I've essentially done is I've created a little kind of circle which sticks out by using absolute positioning, and it creates this nice kind of elevated start a new call approach. Now when I click it, you see I'll be on the call screen, and this is where I'll see the entire call. So at that point I would be seeing, you know, the user on the phone to whoever they are, and then when you click on end call, you basically go back to the previous screen. Okay, so that's essentially what we're going to do. We can also click back on the phone to go back, right? So that's why the Android simulator is pretty good, because you've also got the back button as well. So that's looking pretty cool off the bat. Again, you can pause, look at that for yourself if you want a little inference or a little reference, sorry. So great stuff. Okay, now next step is the phone call itself. So this is really where the magic is going to happen. So what I need to do is I've done the phone setup in a way. So as you can see, the design spec from our client, right, is saying that every time a call gets created, we basically have this special random name for the call ID. So in this case, this call ID was mango orange monkey, right? So I'll show you, and every single time, I know I said that out, but every single time that you create a new call, it will generate a new thing. It could be like flaky gray elephant, right, or whatever the case, but then you would basically use that ID to share it to your friend, and you can FaceTime, right? So I've designed that all, by the way, so you can feel free to make it however you want, but this is a prime example of what I'm showing you. So let's go ahead and do it. So inside the id.tsx, what I want to do is basically set up the start call stream. But before we do that, let's actually get GetStream set up, right? So in the link in the description will take you to this page right here. And inside of it, if you click on start coding for free, you can create your account. So all you need to do, create your account, click on complete setup and log into your GetStream account. Now I am already inside, but once you're inside, we can go ahead and do a couple of cool things. So if we head over to our dashboard, let me see, where is it? If I head over to my dashboard, let me go inside. As you can see, I'm inside of my dashboard. I created an app, so all you need to do is click on create app, and you get a bunch of test ones you can go ahead and do. You can set this all up yourself. It's all good. You even got Tokyo, or you can clone the existing app. We're going to do development environment. Click on Papa, and now inside of here, you can see we've got keys and secrets. Okay, so this is the next step in our journey. So what we're going to do is we actually need to create a GetStream API key. Okay, so inside of our environment variables, so over here .env, I'm going to go ahead and create a Expo public GetStream API key. Now here, I want you to go ahead and simply copy an API existing key. So in this case, if you haven't got one, create a key and it'll create one for you. So simple as, you can go ahead and copy the key. So copy that key and you can basically use it like so. This is public key, doesn't matter. It's completely cool to use. The secret key is the one you need to keep secret. Yeah. We're also going to need one more, right, down the line. We're going to need Expo public API. And this is for our own API down the line, right? So I'm going to do https://www.example.com for now, right? But in this case, this will be replaced with our own API, right, in the end. So because we're going to have a Next.js backend to handle some of the token management. Okay, so once that's done, we need to set things up. So in order to get this working, head over to, you can see there's a bunch of different sections in GetStream. We're going to be focused on video and audio. Click on overview and you can see here view documentation. So once you've got documentation up, you got a bunch of different examples of different SDKs. The SDK obviously that we're interested in is React Native. Now remember, we are using React Native, but we're using the Expo framework. So it's worth realizing that there's going to be a couple of differences that we will have to take into consideration. For example, it says npx pod install, and you see that, look for Expo somewhere, because I guarantee you see installation. We are not using raw React Native, we're using Expo. And Expo has benefits because when we do npx expo install, it installs all the dependencies for iOS and Android without the need to eject. Do not eject the app at this point, right? Do not do that, right? We don't need to do that at all in this build, okay? So go ahead, open up your terminal, and then let's go ahead and do this. We're going to go ahead and paste in the following. Jason goes, hey, I've been stuck on the south side of build for some time. Make sure you ask, join us in www.papareact.course, papareact.com/course. Wow, I need to wake up. I need a little bit of water. Let's carry on. The live count's actually pretty booming right now. Okay, let's go. So at this point, we've done an Expo install on all of the packages that we're going to need. So you can see right now it's installing everything that we need. And then it tells you what you need to install as well. Now, a couple of things that we need to do. We need to go inside of our app.json file. And it's very important, right? The app.json. Okay, Jay's going to know why I'm laughing at that. Right, so inside of the app.json file, we're going to see where we have the plugins. Where is it? Plugins here, Expo router, right? So here we want to add a couple of things. So first up, we have the Expo build properties that it's telling us about, right? So this one, you want to basically add in here. So boom, like so. Expo build properties, add it as I've added it. So literally taking it as the example I've added. Then we need a config plugin for React Native WebRTC, right? So in this case, we need this one, so you can copy that snippet again after this, comma, and paste it. Okay, we do not need that as well. Now, what is this doing? Is asking for permission to access the camera and microphone. Okay, so that is very important, guys. And we also need to set up something called React Native permissions. And this is very important. So at this point, you want to go ahead and click this to open it up. We need to install this. So if without doing this, your app will not work. Okay, so we need to go ahead and do app npm install. So you can't skip this step. Otherwise, it'll literally crash your build and it'll say, whoa, it crashed because of, if you do an inspection report, it'll say this app crashed because you didn't get right permissions. Okay, so once we've installed that, guys, you do not need to worry about all of this rubbish. Go back instead. And now what I want you to do is, instead of all of that, we're going to add in the following to our app. Okay, so once we've installed that, underneath the GetStream, we added that here. I want you to add in the following: array, React Native permissions, iOS permissions, camera, microphone. Okay, and that is enough to get what we need ready. Okay, now I believe that's not all, so that's not everything. If we go up, by the way, I completely skipped a step, I believe. No, I didn't skip a step, but you should also do an additional step here. So inside of Android, we need to say that we are asking for permissions. Okay, so here in Android, here I'm going to say permissions, Android permission camera, Android permission record audio. Okay, and then we also need a package, right? The package is typically going to be the name of the app. It'll be com with our name, and then it'll be, but I think that's set up for us down the line, so that's completely fine. We can add that in afterwards, but in this case, that's good for now to get set up, right? So we needed to do that step. You can take your time with it. There's going to be a bit of issues as well. There's a known issue as well if you're on version anything below 1.1.18, and you may have to do this if you're below Expo 49. Okay, so then after we're done with that, we can head over to the client setup, right? So this is the next step, really. This is really the important part, as to get the whole phone call setup working. So where do we do all of this? Well, this is actually inside of the layout. So if I close all of these and we go to app, we go into assets. So I don't need that right now. App call layout. This is where we're going to do a lot of this stuff. Okay. So here is where I'm firstly going to get access to the GetStream API key. So first up, we're going to make sure we have access to it. If there is no key, we're going to say, no, you don't have it, right? And remember, we set this up a second ago over here, okay? So we've done that now. If it comes up with that issue, it's just refreshing. It's all good. Then we're going to go ahead and actually wrap our entire app inside of the stream video, okay? So, so you can see here, stream video client. Okay, so we need to do that right now. So on top of the tabs, but within the safe area view, we can do it here. We can say stream video. Now, as you can see, nothing is being loaded. And that is either down to two things. One, I haven't installed the required dependency, or two, I don't think I have installed the dependency. Yeah. So let's go back. Introduction, React Native, Expo. We did install it all. Was there an error? Let's have a look. No, it's done. So sometimes it's just slow on the auto importing. So let's just try for ourselves. There we go. So import the statement. Missing API key. That's fine for now. You can just do a refresh. Go down here, hit refresh, and then we should see that there's no longer missing API key. Okay. Cool. Now, once we're here, we need the actual client. So we are going to go ahead and create the client. Well, firstly, we're going to use it. So let's just say stream video client equals client. And then we're going to have a closing one. We're going to take the closing one, go all the way outside the tabs and paste it there. Okay, so our entire app is surrounded by. Now, obviously, we don't have a client. So the client will look something like this. So outside here, we're going to say stream video client, get or create instance. Then we need the API key, user, token provider, which is actually going to be using our Next.js backend, which we're yet to create. And that's going to set things up. And then we have the options here of basically doing something with the error messages. So if you do want to console log a couple of errors, this is how you would do it. For now, I'm just not doing anything with it, right? So how do we get that set up? So first up, what we need is we have the API key up here, right? Now, a couple of things. If we're not signed in, if we do not have a user and we do not have an API key, we should redirect the user to the sign up page. So how do we do that? Well, first up, if we're going to go ahead and pull in a couple of things that we need is signed in. Let's go ahead and do this. Use user. We're going to pull from Clerk Expo. Now here we have our user. Now we're not just going to do this check. We're going to check a few others. We're going to check if the user is signed in, or if there's no Clerk user, or if there's no API key. Okay. Now it says web RTC module is not found. That is because I actually forgot to do something else. I actually try the implement inside your. if you're trying to use module that's not supporting Expo, go. Okay, so this is because, yes, okay. So now is where we start hitting the native stuff problems, right? So because we're using streaming, videos, all that stuff, this is where it will break. Because Expo Go cannot do native module dependency work. Now, what does this mean? Basically, we have just installed by doing npm expo. So if you remember here, this, as soon as you start doing this stuff, npx expo install, you are starting to install native dependencies, okay? So what you have to be aware of now is that you see this, our SDK is not available on Expo Go due to native code being required, but you can use the Expo dev client library to run your Expo app with a development build. So now what we need to do is we need to pause, go to Expo dev client, and we have to create this. So this is very important, guys. So basically, what we're doing now is we have an Expo Go app to start with, which can do minimal things that we need it to, right? So the setup that we've done so far. But what we now need to do is basically create something called a development build. This allows us to create a sort of a, let's just say an app which has native dependencies installed inside of it. Now there's two ways of doing this. You can do it locally, but there's a ton of setup, so I'm not going to get into that, right? Or you can use EAS. EAS is a free service. They have a very generous free tier, and then they have like queues and concurrency limits. But for now, we're going to use EAS. So in order to do this, what we do is we do npx expo install expo dev client. Okay, so I'm going to go down here. I'm going to do npx expo install expo dev client. And as you can see, installing one SDK 51 compatible and a module npx install. Cool. Okay. Now verify your EAS JSON configuration. All right. So in this case, we go to your EAS.json file, and there's a couple of things that we have to do here. Okay. So EAS, let's go down here. EAS JSON. Where's it gone? We don't actually have an EAS JSON file. So if you don't have it, you will run this EAS build. Okay, so let's do that firstly, and it will actually create it for us. So right now, if we're in here, EAS build, and if we do that, what you'll see is we should see an EAS JSON be created in just a second. If we go ahead and do all platforms, look, EAS JSON, would you like to automatically create an EAS project for us? This is Sangha video calling app final. Yes, I'm going to click yes. But if you're not logged in at this point, you'll be prompted to log in to Expo. So just log in and then click yes to create a project. It will link it, and here loaded environment configuration for the production profile. So I want to do just a default name for the Android application. That's fine. And this generating a new Android key store. Yes. This will start doing a build, which I don't actually want. So I'm going to cancel, right? Cancel that. So do it, but cancel it before it creates a new build. Reason being is I don't want to use up any of my concurrency limits when we're demoing. I'm going to show you what we need to do ahead of time to make sure it's ready, right? Firstly, new CLI version to what I had. So hopefully nothing breaks. But anyway, so we've got development preview production. I actually am going to create a new profile here called development simulator. Okay, so development simulator. And inside of here, we're going to say development client is true, distribution internal. So we're going to copy this. So it's basically the same as development, but I'm going to add my own custom take on it, which basically I'm going to have environment variables firstly. Now the environment variables, when we build this, because remember, this is being built on EAS servers, right? So this, firstly, remember, don't ever put any sensitive data here, but in this case, these are all public keys. So copy our public keys and put them here as well. Okay. So put them here. Now you might need to actually go ahead and firstly have to do this accordingly. Oops. And then the last one, do the following, like so, right? So you need to go ahead and put them in the correct format. And then we're also going to say iOS simulator is true. Okay. So now we've created a profile for the development simulator. And then what we can actually do is if we go here now, you can see EAS build profile, development simulator, or iOS. We can do iOS. In this case, you see, look, they actually helped us out with it here. So you can actually go down here and do it yourself, but I've added in the environment variables, but we can take that right there. Now, what I want you to do is save this command because this command is the main one, right? We're going to be using it a lot. Now here you can see ES device create and so forth. Now again, if you are going to test it on your device in this fashion, you will need an Apple developer membership, right? So I think it's 99 a year or something, but if you're doing it on iOS, you will need that. By doing ES device create, this is where you can test your development builds on your local device. I'm not going to run into how to do that. I'm going to stick to the simulator for this tutorial, but just know that that's the case, right? Now, first up, before we carry on, let's just create a development build. You can't skip this step, by the way, right? So EAS build, profile development simulator. As soon as we hit that, it will ask me which platform do I want to create on. I actually want both. I want Android and iOS. This step actually takes a bit of time. So, right. So it loaded environment configuration file. So it loaded my environment variables. Now it's uploading my project to EAS. And the same for iOS bundle. Yes, we're going to say that is correct. No remote versions have been created. So it's uploading that as well. And now you can see it's creating both of my builds. And as you can see, it's inside of a queue. Okay. So of course you can go ahead and do this at your own pace. But in this case, if I go ahead and just copy this and head back over to my browser, we can see the following. Look, it will actually go ahead and start a build, right? So in this case, I'm at Expo now. If we click on all builds, what we'll see is we've started 2 builds, right? We've got the Android build and the iOS simulator build. This is the one that we're going to need to go ahead and set things up for. Okay, so quick little water break. You guys are doing awesome, by the way, guys. I know it's an intense build, but we got this, don't worry. Okay, so while that does that build step, which will take about 10 minutes, by the way, right? It will take a bit of time, but it's in the cloud, so you don't have to worry about it. They're handling it, right? So while that development build is happening, we're just going to carry on building the app. Okay, so and then we'll come back to this. So that means that we can then use our simulator with native dependencies, because we're no longer using Expo Go. We're using a development build, which has been specifically built for iOS and Android, but then we can actually install it to our simulator devices. And it's even easier via something called Orbit, which I'll show you very shortly as well. Okay, don't worry. I know it can be overwhelming, but it's all good. Like, this will be really great practice for a lot of you. Now, from our Clerk user, I'm going to create a user instance. So this user instance, we are importing from, from Stream.io. So in this case, we can see Clerk user ID, Clerk user full name, and Clerk user image URL. And we pass it through to the user. And then we need something called a token provider. Now, the token provider is where we actually need to build this ourselves. So what is this? Basically, when we access GetStream, every time we either create a new video call or we join a video call, we need a access token. There's a couple of ways you can do it. You can have authentication, you can do different approaches. We're going to use access tokens. And what we can do here is GetStream provide us something called a token provider service, right? But what we need to do is we need to handle that on a server, which is secure. Now you can do this with Supabase Cloud Functions, Firebase Cloud Functions, but I'm going to show you the free way, which is with a Next.js app on the side. Okay, and obviously we will deploy that and we'll get it working. Now, I'm going to pop it in like so. So this is a token provider. It's a function which simply has the following inside of it, right? So simply a function, and it has the following inside. It's a fetch call here. This is simply a fetch call. All it's doing is it's passing the user's information, right, as well as the user's ID up to our endpoint, right? So this right now is our own endpoint, right? So obviously inside of my environment file, we just have an example endpoint. So this is not doing anything right now, but it's /generate user tokens. We have to create a backend with a post endpoint, which has a body, which accepts a body of that. And then we're going to generate a API key with it. Okay. So this is where I need you to focus, right? We're going to open up Warp or Terminal, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? Open up a terminal. I'm going to go into my documents and builds, and we're going to create a second app. So yes, we've been doing everything with React Native, but I'm going to create a second app for Next to basically be our server now. Okay. So here I'm going to go ahead and do npx create next app, right? And this one, we're going to go ahead and say video calling app final backend Next.js, right? So this is our backend server. Okay, so I'm going to create a Next.js app for our backend. Okay, so we're actually doing a bit of create, like this is a lot of dev right now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create all of the defaults out of the box. And yes, some might consider this as overkill, But I'm just showing you a free approach, right? You can literally make a cloud function which then consumes, you make a request to it, but this is free and it works with Vercel, and we're used to it on the channel. We use it tons, right? And it's a perfectly viable thing that you can do, okay? So we're creating our backend function here. You can feel free to do it a couple of ways. It's all good. You can see right now, this is still being built out. So yeah, that one's still being in concurrency. That's fine. So let's go ahead and do CD, video calling, app final, backend, Next.js, and we're going to open that in our editor. So now I have two apps open. So remember, I have the backend and then the React Native app. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this one over here. So I am in the backend now, right? So I'm going to keep telling you when I'm in front end, backend, right? But this is front end, and I refer to this as the React Native app. This one is the Next.js app. So this is a normal Next.js app, right? We're completely used to this on the channel, building Next.js apps. Now, all we're going to do here in this Next.js app is, if I was to simply run this, you can basically see for yourself, it's nothing special. If we go into our output and we do npm run dev, right, this will go ahead and I've actually got an app running right now. So let's go ahead and cancel that. So now this is starting on localhost 3000. So let's go ahead and spin that up. And as you can see, I have a Next.js app, right? So very, very simple. What I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm simply going to go ahead and create a endpoint. Okay, so I'm going to have a root called generate user token. Inside of here, we're going to do route.ts. Okay, now inside of route.ts, we're going to go ahead and have our export async function. Export async function, and this is going to be responsible for consuming our response. So from our phone, we're going to make a request to this generate user token over here, generate user token. So this is going to make a request to our backend, right? Now we're going to use something called ngrok, right? So ngrok. So if I go over here, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to use ngrok. So if inside of ngrok, it's for free right now. I've already installed it. You can go ahead and do it yourself. You can click on the technical documentation to see how to install ngrok. If you go ahead and just do get started with ngrok, brew, install. I've already used homebrew to install it, but you can follow any of these steps to install it. Once you've done it, you can basically go ahead and do the following. You can do this as well if you want, but ngrok http localhost. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we do this. So inside of our app, inside of our backend, sorry, we're going to go ahead and create a second. I'm going to split this one so you can see it. And here I'm going to say ngrok http 3000. So here you guys can see I did ngrok http 3000. I'll cut that and show you again. Ngrok http 3000. And what I'm doing is I'm forwarding. So while we're developing, I need to have access to this. Okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm forwarding all of my 3000 requests through something called a tunnel. Okay. And in this case, I've signed in, I've got a free plan. And while this is running, this URL can be used for development. Okay. So what I can do now is go over to my environment variable. I can just simply swap this up. So this will be a row endpoint while my server's running, and it's perfect for when we're developing. Okay. So if I cancel this, I'm going to have a new URL. So it's worth mentioning that. Okay. So at this point, we can go ahead and get the body over here. So at this point, heading back over to our app. Oops. Oh, damn it. What have I done? VS Code. Okay. Yeah. So over here now, what we can do is, this is where the request will get made, and then it will get sent over here. So on the back end, we can take the user ID, name, image, email. So everything that we sent over here, and we can do what we need to do with it. So first up, we need the SDK from GetStream. So if we go over to GetStream right now, the documentation, and we go to the video and audio. Okay. So we're inside the video and audio section. And if we look at the documentation here, remember we clicked on React Native. Well, for the backend, we're going to click on Platform API documentation. And here you can see we can do npm install stream node SDK, because this is a node backend SDK, right? So heading back over to this app, and what you can see is this is running. This is an ngrok. So I'm going to create an entirely separate terminal for installing stuff. So this one's running. The ngrok is over here on the side, just running. And we're going to do npm install stream node SDK. right? So that's that. So left side is my app running, middle's for installing stuff, right side is ngrok. And now we've got it installed. What I can do is I can go ahead and simply pop in the following. So I can say import stream client user request from stream.io node SDK. And obviously you can see all of this yourself. They basically have all the documentation. So if you're wondering, how's he getting all this stuff? How's he creating tokens? This is where I get it all from. But obviously I'm going to skip that part and just show you, okay? Because it's easier. Now, I need an API key and a secret. So I actually need two things. I need an API key and a secret, okay? And these both are going to be kept. Well, remember, this one is actually public, so we don't need to worry about this. Is a local server good for production? No, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for production because it can get overwhelmed really easy. And if you turn your computer off, then it's not going to be able to serve. You have to deploy it to the cell and then it's okay. Okay, remember, smash that like button if you're enjoying this content, right? Let's carry on. So here we have the environment file. So let's go ahead and create a .env.local file. So this is our environment file for a backend, right? Now inside of here, guys, we need a publishable key. So in this case, my publishable key will be the same one we had here, right? For GetStream. So it'd be the same publishable key, like so. And then we need a secret key, okay, from GetStream. Now this one is secret, okay? And obviously it's on our backend, so it's a bit more secure. So here, if I go into my dashboard, so let's get messy now, let me tidy it up. We're using Arc, by the way, in case you're wondering. Okay, I did nothing. But in this case, you can see Android build is done. I'll show you how we can install it in a second, but here. So for the P9G, whatever it is, yeah. So this one here, I'm going to reveal the secret. So I'm going to click to reveal, and on my screen now, I can see a secret and I've copied it. Okay, so I just copied this secret. Okay, now once I have it, I'm going to go back to my backend and I'm going to paste it here. So at this point, guys, I'm going to paste. Right, so I pasted in the key just like so, and then I'm closing my environment.local file. Okay, so in this case now we can carry on. That was smooth, I know. And now we've got the keys that we need, and if we don't, it'll throw an error. All right, and it reloads those into our app. Okay, so that's great. The next step is we're going to create a user from that information. So in this case, we're going to create a user in GetStream. So in this case, user request is from GetStream. So we'll make sure and everything's type safe. We've got the ID, we've got the role as a user. You can also use a guest role permission. We're going to do the name, image, and then custom properties. Now we're going to pass the email as a custom property. And you notice here, we don't need to use anything like Firebase or anything else to store this information. Everything is stored inside of GetStream. So in this case, we've got the custom, and then we need to simply insert our user. Okay, upsert means that if it's already there, it will go ahead and install it. If it's not, it will just go ahead and do if it's already there, then it will grab it. If not, it will just get the current user. Okay, but here I need the access to the client. So we say new const client equals new stream client, passing the key and secret. Using this client, we're going to upsert the users. Okay, and as you can see here, this will return a promise. Okay, so we're going to simply await that that's finished. Now you can set the validity of the access token that we're going to provide. In this case, by default, it's an hour, but I'm just putting it here for reference so you can use it. And then we're going to create the token, right? So in this case, token equals client generate user token, passing the user ID and the validity in seconds. And then we write console log user with the user ID created with token and validity and so forth, right? This is just handy for debugging. You don't need to put a console log. And then we're simply going to return the token. Okay, so we're going to return the token afterwards to the user, and we need to make sure we import next response like so. Okay, so this is our backend essentially done, and now it's ready for testing. Now, how do we start sending requests to this from the Next.js app or from the React Native app? So good question. We're going to go ahead and do it right now. So the backend is actually complete, but we're running it locally via this approach. We're running it and we're tunneling it through a ngrok, right? So I can get rid of this one for now in the middle. As you can see here, now we're tunneling this through ngrok, and we're running it locally. So this is how I can dev and debug it accordingly, right? So in the meantime, we can go ahead and run this. So what we can do now is the token provider here, we're basically passing the data.token, right? So this token provider, all we have to do, guys, is pass it into the client that we pass into stream video. And then whenever we access the layout here, it will go ahead and actually call the token provider. So remember, we now need to get the app running. Yeah. So let's go back to our Expo builds. And as you can see, the Android build is now complete. Okay, so the iOS build is being built. It's almost done. But if we go to and do not keep on doing this because you have a limit with the free tier. And now you can see here that install or open with Orbit. If you click install, you can open this on your device, but obviously you need to authenticate your device. But Orbit is the one that I'm interested in showing you. Now this is only from Mac, the Orbit, right? But here, if you download Orbit, all you need to do is click on open with Orbit. And then if you go ahead, simply Google Orbit Expo and it will show you how to go ahead and do it, right? But in this case, all I need to do, guys, is click open with Orbit, and I need to click on the emulator that I care about. So in this case, open with Orbit, and it's already trying to do it on this one. Let it finish this one round. Yeah. So open with Orbit. If I go to, let's just do it from this phone then. It's picking this one, and you see development servers. Now this is basically a development build. However, it's connecting to our local dev environment, which is really powerful, guys. So you see here, this now is, if I pull this over to our app, so we have 3 phones here. This one has my development build on it, right? And you can tell by this, if you swipe up from here, you'll see that these are, one of them will have Expo Go, and then you'll have this little, no picture. That's because it's a development build. We haven't set a picture for it. So what we can do now is if we sign in here, right, I will show you that this will start doing what we actually want it to do. So let's go over here. Let's sign in with Google. Do I have an account? Okay, so this one is the bad phone. I need to go ahead and set up with the other phone. So here, what I can do is, again, open with Orbit. Let's do it again. Open in Orbit. And for God's sake, it's doing it again. So let's just do this. Look, open with Orbit. Here, select build from EAS, right? And there's a couple of ways you can install it. Honestly, it's just one way, right? Again, you don't have to do it this way, but Orbit is for Mac users. You can do this on, I don't know, I think it is IntelliSense. I think it was already out of the box, so you didn't need to install IntelliSense. But you can see Fogger app, we've got a bunch of apps here. Video calling app, Final is the one I'm interested in, Visit, and then we select the build that we want to install. So Android here. I click that build now. Here, you can see it says, all I need to do now is click on a phone. So I click on this Pixel 8, okay? And if I click in open with Orbit, it will install it to my Pixel 8. Okay, now you can see, look, again, development service here. It's available for Windows. Oh, nice. I didn't know that. Thank you for letting me know. Orbit is available for Windows. It wasn't before, so I guess it is now, right? And now you can see this is the developer menu. So now we're inside the correct screen. So sign in with Google on the bigger phone. And as you can see, this one's logged in. So I've got a couple of test phones. Close that one. That's crap. Continue. And open in chat with anyone Expo or video calling app. So video calling app is the one I want. We're going to do always. And as you can see now, it signed me in. Great. Okay. Now, promise rejection, token provider failed with JSON unprovided. Okay, so something went wrong here. So it did not actually push to the correct thing. And that is because we changed the environment variable. Okay, so that's actually why this happened. So we actually changed the environment variable. So what I can do is I can do Control C, and I need to basically do npm, go back to my original terminal, and I need to go ahead and restart the server. So npm run start, or you can do npm expo start. Sorry, where is it? npx expo start -c to clear my cache. Okay. Now I can understand the confusion here, because what will actually happen is you'll be a bit confused to be like, hang on a minute, what actually changed? Well, firstly, now it says using development build, not Expo Go. Secondly, what you'll notice is when we've got a development build, we don't have to necessarily keep rebuilding a dev build. All we need to do is every time we install new native dependencies, then we need a new development build. Otherwise, now we can resume the current flow from dev, right? So from our environment here. So no development build for the project, so make sure to install development device first. Okay, so I didn't do it on the iOS device because it's still building. So if we go here, you'll see that iOS wasn't finished. So forget that for now, do A for Android. And as you can see, it's opening it up on the Pixel 8 Pro. And remember, we changed all the environment variables. Now, we may need to rebuild because of the environment variables, but I don't think we do. I think we're good. Okay, good. Now, as you can see, there we go, guys. Look, user created with token. There we go. Boom, we have it. Now, if I was to refresh, so R, you guys can see here, the user, we actually already generated the user, so we don't need to. Yeah, there you go. Look, it's there. It generated a token. Perfect. All right, so now you can see it's hitting our backend correctly. That's perfect, guys. That's exactly what we want to see, right? So that's great. Our auth flow is working and we have tokens being provided. You need to do that step and get to the point that I'm at before you can carry on. Again, once the iOS build is done, we can then carry on. So iOS is being built, but that's how you do your first development build. Okay. Again, lots of complexity in the sense of like getting used to new things, but just take your time. And honestly, like, there's not a rush here. Like, you just need to make sure you just take your time, debug it, like I said. And I'm always here in Zero to Full Stack Hero as well to go ahead and handle things. Okay, so we've done that. Now we've got the stream video connected and we've got tokens being passed through. That's actually the hard work done. Like, I kid you not, the rest of it is easy, right? So now you'll be like, how is this? How is it going to be easy now? Well, I'll show you. But basically what we do is inside of the ID. So this screen is going to be responsible for calling. Okay. So in here, all we have to do now is go ahead and say stream call. And this custom built component just takes a call object. Now we just need to get the call object and then it will be able to render we're going to create a room component, which is going to render the call contents. Now, how do we get a call object? Well, I'll show you right now. So first up, we're going to create a piece of state to keep track of the call. Okay. We're going to go ahead and import the use state like so. And we're going to import call from our React Native SDK. Again, this is what I really like about using, oh, nice, dude. He goes, Sharif goes, started watching your stream 2 years ago. I've come a long way since then. So grateful, Papa. Much love. Appreciate you, Sharif. That is awesome. Thank you, Jay. Screenshot that positivity. All right. So next up, we have the actual call itself. So what we need to do is we actually need to make a call, a use effect, right? So a couple of things. Firstly, I need a use effect for if the user leaves. Let's assume there's a call. If the user leaves the page, for example, if I'm on this, say I'm on a call page, yeah, I'm here and I leave, so I go back. At that point, I should actually leave that call. Okay, so how do we do that? So we create a use effect, import it from React. We go ahead and we've got our dependency array. If you're wondering about the use effects, I've got a whole video which explains them. It'll be linked over here if you're watching the replay. Jay, that's a cue to add it. So I appreciate it. At that point, we're going to go ahead and have a cleanup function. Now, so cleanup functions basically run when the component unmounts. Okay, so again, look at that. Even GitHub agrees with me, right? Copilot. So here we're going to say if the call state, and it may be undefined, so that's why we do this. If the call state, calling state, so we actually have these things called calling states here. If the calling state has, so we can actually tap into an enum here. So calling state dot, and you see we've got a bunch of things here. So we can say calling, if we've left the calling state, then what we're going to do is we're going to say call dot leave. Okay, call dot leave. Oops. And just like that, guys, we are going to basically, as long as we are dependent on this, this will leave the call every time the user leaves the screen. So if I was to close the app, leave, whatever the case, my state would become, not this, sorry. There you go, guys. My state would become calling state left, and then it would trigger the leave every time it unmounts, okay? So that's the first thing. Now, obviously, there's no call that it's connected to, so we have to handle that part as well. Well, let's do that firstly. So we're going to say use effect. Okay. Now here, we're actually going to have two flows inside of this use effect. Well, first up, we're going to have an ID and a client that is going to be responsible for here that we need to basically be dependent on. Now, in order to get those, first up, we can get the client easily because in the layout, the parent component above, we surrounded the entire thing in a higher order component. So if you look inside of here, we have the stream video passing the client in, which means any child under it has access to it via the hook. So we've got the client here. Great. The ID, on the other hand, is basically passed through. Now, the ID refers to this ID. So this is a wildcard. So remember, it's a root. So this could be / remember what we talked about? It could be like blue happy monkey, right? And then you're probably wondering, if you just joined the stream, what is he on about, right? So here, look, mango orange monkey is your room name, okay? So in this case now, that would be the room ID. So we need to get that using the use local search params, right? Isaac, I appreciate you. Thank you. Raphael, I appreciate it as well. Reactnative with Expo is expensive. I like, yeah, it's cool, dude. It's very cool, right? So in this case, we got the use effect, and this is really going to separate the devs who are willing to put in the work. Like, that's the truth, right? I don't really care about having like so many people tune in. I really care about teaching the devs who really want to excel, right? That's the ones that are going to make a difference. All right, so in this case, at this point, we're going to say, so we're going to have two flows here, because basically you can either start a new call. So if you click on the start a new call button here, we're going to basically trigger a new call, in which case you'll come up here and then it will create a new call ID for you. Or you can go ahead and join a room. And when you click this join room button, we pass in an ID. Okay. So how do we do that, right? How do we actually basically create two flows, right? Well, the first version is basically we're going to use something called, we're going to use the ID basically, right? Now, if I don't pass an ID in, essentially what the root is classified as is simply bracket call, close bracket, right? So in this case, what I can do is I can say the following, I can say let's slug, which refers to this, right? Call or call / the ID. I'm going to say slug equals, are you using Android Studio? Yes, I am. Yeah. I'm going to say slug is a string. Okay. Now, if the ID for this route, right? If ID is not equal to call, right? So this means that basically you've come in, and we need to make sure the ID exists. Then you're saying you're joining an existing call, because basically ID would have been passed in. So if I've ever entered this screen, so if I go through the join call screen, I'm going to that screen with an ID pre-filled. So basically this is the check that makes sure I'm joining an existing call. Else, what I need to do is create a new call. Yes, an Xcode for the iOS simulator. Yes, I am. Well, I've set it up and then I carried on from my own. Yeah. So in this case, has it done the iOS? Okay, it just finished the iOS build as well. So I'm going to quickly show you guys how you do it there. Look, open with Orbit. It says downloading build. So it'll download the iOS build. It installs it. It will install it onto the iPhone 15 Pro Max that I have installed here. Okay, so now you guys can see the iPhone is here. Development servers. It hits up that development server. I can simply log in. Let's go ahead and log into that one. Let's close that out. Papa react.team. Head over to the iPhone. And as you can see now as well on this device, it's all working well. No errors. And you can see right there, we've created another user. If I hit refresh, we will see another request came in. Boom. There you go. Cool. Dope stuff. All right. So now when we go to create the screen, let's carry on, guys. Now we've got two development phones, iOS and Android. Bam, we're back. Right. So at this point now, if we're joining an existing call, it's fairly straightforward, right? It's really easy, right? If we create a new call, then let's do the joining existing call firstly, I think, right? Actually, no, let's do create a call. Let's do create a call first, right? So all of this happens on GetStream, right? So firstly, I'll just show you how to create a call in the first place. And then I'll show you how to create a special one, which basically has like those words like blue, orange, monkey, or blue, happy, tiger, or whatever it is, right? So the random name. So Geeky SRM, hey Sonny, love your streams. I'm also a dev content creator, up for a collab. Dude, hit me up. We can see if we can work together, right? So at this point, we're going to do const call equals underscore call, because we're going to be assigning a call here. We're going to say client.call default and then a slug. So it's going to say the demo room, okay? And the default type of room. Otherwise, you can have things like live streams and so forth, but we're using a default room, okay? The next step is to actually join the call, okay? So this is going to return a asynchronous event. Now, instead of waiting for it with await async, we're going to make sure that if it doesn't exist, we'll create the room, okay? And you can also go ahead and do things like ring, right? So this is actually really cool. They actually include the APIs inside of GetStream's APIs, basically where if you enter a room, it can trigger a ring to everyone else, and then they have the UI components which basically allow you to accept and decline. Didn't do that in this build, but it's worth knowing that you can actually do that very simply here. Then you can go ahead and say .then. Now here, once it's done, I'm going to go ahead and actually set the call. So here, I'm basically eventually going to have a toaster pop up. So I have a toast pop up saying, you know, you've entered the room, right? And then we're actually going to, after this is done, we're going to set the call to the call outside, right? So here, and also as you can see at the top, we're going to be joining it accordingly, right? Now, if we did have a slug here, then so it will be ID to string. So we basically convert the ID that we've been passed in to string. And then what we do is we do the same principle where we join the call. Okay. However, here, sorry guys, I actually messed up as well here. This should be inside, I believe here. And I did not do something. I need to have it inside of, what did I do? I had it inside of the then. Okay. Yeah. So have a toast pop up there. Yeah, I forgot to do that, right? So here we have the same thing, except we passed in the slug instead of demo room. And we set the call, except this one does not create a room, it joins an existing room. Okay, so we've got two different approaches now. Now, I want you to try it out. So how do we do that? Well, first up, remember, once this is all done, it passes call into the room. Now, the problem is, if the call's not ready, what should we show? Well, it's pretty easy here. If there is no call, or if there is no slug being passed in, and then slug is not here. So slug is actually a piece of state that we want to keep track of. So we need to include set slug outside of the overall use effect here. So inside, here, sorry. That one is actually going to be added to outside of that. No, where's this? If else set slug, variable slug is used before being assigned. We do not set the slug. Okay, what have I stupidly done here? Oh yeah, I forgot to set the slug here. So let's just do, okay, so here we've got demo room. So let's just do slug, and here I'll do slug equals demo room. Okay, that's how we do it. So it's being assigned in both conditions. That's why I was complaining before. So at this point, what should happen now is we should actually be able to, we've got an activity indicator being rendered if it's loading. So if there is no call or no slug, we're going to basically go ahead and show a centered activity indicator. All that is a little spinner, okay, which is by default available inside of our app, right? So let's go ahead and click on start a new call, and you see it's loading, okay? We've got a promise rejection. So demo room is not available, right? So it says failed, it's not a valid call ID. So that's because demo room is not a valid call ID, okay? So let's just call it demo room all in one letters. So let's go ahead and do that. And look, it asks me, would you like to access the camera? Yes. Would you like to access the microphone? Yes. And now we're on the call screen, right? Incredible, works. So if we were actually going into our GetStream now, so let's look over at GetStream. And guys, you can see here that if I refresh my recent calls, we should see demo room. Look at that. Look, there's a live call right now with demo room. That's awesome. So that's literally the call, which would be the one that we're going to tap into. Okay. So pretty awesome. Remember, if you're enjoying this, smash that like button. All of this code is available in the Papa GitHub repo straight after this live ends. And this video will be on the chat, right? Clerk is my favorite authentication, hands down. Beats everyone that I've ever used, honestly, just period. I honestly cannot find a better authentication experience, period. They're just too good. I use them for all my projects, right? So there we go, the call screen. Now you'll be amazed at how cool this is and easy to set up after this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a component called room, pass the slug through like so. And I'm going to go ahead and do the following. So I'm gonna get rid of call screen and we're gonna create this room component, okay? So this room component, let's go into our components over here. Let's go ahead and create room.tsx, rf React Native functional component. And we're gonna call this one the call room, okay? It takes a slug, like we said, takes a slug. Yep. Takes a slug, which is a string, and I've screwed something up somewhere. It's because of this. And then I've screwed something up there. Oh, Sonny. Sometimes you mess things up. Look, slug. There we go. Muscle memory for the win. Okay. Call room. All right. So now we're back at the call room. So inside of the call room, here is where we need to render something called. This is honestly where the magic comes together. It's called call content. Okay. And I promise you, it's incredible how this works. So look, call content. So let's pass in call content. And let's pass in literally this. So React Native SDK, right? Hit save and 1 minute, guys. Boom, boom, boom. And we need to wrap it in something called a gesture root handler. Okay, so gesture handler root. Let's go ahead and pop that in. And that is from a React Native root handler. And we need to actually install this one. So we're going to need this for later. So I'm going to just pop this in right now so you guys can see it. React Native Expo install. So you actually need to install this one correctly. Do not mess it up. npx expo install React Native gesture handler. Okay. So we need to install that one. See, it's not installed. So let's go ahead and install it. npx expo install. And now again, what have we learned? If we install something natively, native dependencies, most of the time, we will need to restart our development build. Okay, so I'm going to try and see if it will force it and work. I don't know if it will work. I don't think it will. Yeah, so in this case, it will not. Oh, I didn't even save. Okay, let's go ahead and refresh. And I believe... Firstly, let's try a few things. Let's go back to my ID room. I didn't even save it. That's why that would help. Call room. Let's just call it call room. I mean, no, I want to call it room. Okay, we can do that. And then I can go here and I can just call it room. Fine. Okay. And then we can rename that one to room because it's a default export. Okay. Let's see now. And this will freak out because, yeah, we don't have the native dependency here. So no route named ID exists in nested children. Okay, so first up, that's freaking out. So this actually exists because of the issue that we have. So what I need to do first is I need to I'm going to try and do a npx expo start -c to clear the cache. See if it rebuilds. I don't think it will. I think we'll have to do a full rebuild. Yeah, so let's try one more time. So let's bundle it. Let's see. It may have bundled it in. I don't know. No, it won't. See? Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna need to trigger a build before we carry on. Okay. So at this point, guys, because we introduced a new native module, I'm gonna trigger a build. Okay. So I'm gonna do npx. Let's go back to our lovely command eas build profile development simulator, and this again will take a while, right? But and obviously you can do it locally. I'm not showing you that. What's up, Kobe Guillaume? Good to see you. Right, we're gonna do all. Okay, so that will go ahead and install it accordingly, and we can let that do its thing now in the background, right? So that's going to upload it to EAS, which will start the build process, and it will do iOS as well. And then once we head back over to this one, we can see inside of EAS, where is it gone? Right, it was create development build. No, yeah. Yep, so this is queued now because obviously Look, 24 seconds, less than 5 minutes remaining, less time, free tier, look, queue. So it's a waiting in a queue. Obviously, this can happen because we're in a free tier. Less than 5 minutes remaining, that's fine, all right. In the meantime, we can carry on building it, okay? That's fine, because we've got loads of stuff to do anyway. So here we've got the room itself. I'm gonna go ahead and build the room out. Now, we can build according to design specs, so I'll show you guys. And then once the development builds are ready, we can tap into them. So this will basically be rendered from the cool content component, which is absolutely awesome, right? Then we have something called on hang up cool handler. So you see this, when I click this, what should happen? Okay. Now what I want to do is I simply want to do a go back with the router, right? So what I need is I need the access to the router, use router, and then I'm going to say on hang up. Yeah. And this is going to be an inline arrow function. I'm going to say router.go back or about back, yeah. And remember, because the previous one had the cleanup function inside the use effect, it will leave the call when you do that step, okay? What's the first thing? Now, obviously when we render this, I need that overlaid. Now that's the slug. Remember, we passed the slug through here. So what we can actually do here is we can have the room ID being rendered in like so. So we have an absolutely positioned view in the top left, 10 spacing, Z index of 100. So it goes to the top, and then the room ID, we're going to go ahead and build out accordingly. Now the room ID is going to be a functional component. Now you can make this into a separate file, but I'm just going to show you for simplicity. Yeah. All right. And then we're going to have these two helper functions, copy slug and format slug. And this is going to be basically where I click this, it will copy to the clipboard, right? And you can see here, tap here to copy the core ID as well. So I'm going to make some helper functions now, which are going to help us do this, copy slug and so forth, right? So we're going to go ahead and create that right now. So I'm going to close all of these. We're going to say at the top level. Also, by the way, right now, before you do anything, add to getignore list here, right? So make sure you add your environment variable to your getignore. You do not want to commit your environment variable. Even if it's a public key, you still don't want to do it. GitHub will freak out as well. Okay, so here at the top level, we're going to create a lib folder, and inside of here, we're going to say slugs.tsx. Okay, now a couple of things. We're going to go ahead and, oh my God, it's going to make me install bloody another Expo clipboard we have to install. So that may be another bloody build. Let's try again anyway. So Expo clipboard, we have to do Expo in MPX. Oh, God damn it. Right. It's fine. So yes, you can obviously, you can see the issue with that you're going to run into eventually. It's okay. It's just a case of like, I would say, let's do MPX Expo, install Expo clipboard. And then I want you to run this app. So MPX Expo start-c, clear the cache. And then we're going to start it up on our iOS Android app. I don't think it'll work, to be honest with you, because we need to rebuild the development build. And again, it may fail because we've added in another native dependencies. We have to do another development build. But anyway, yeah, you get the point. Yeah, so you see we're going to run into a couple of these. So let the development build do its course of action, and then we can carry on. The next one we're also going to need is React Native root toast, right? So this one here. So let's go ahead and do React Native root toast. So this right here, and in fact it's the one that's recommended inside of the documentation. So this one is very easy install. You just do an npm install. Npm installs straightforward, not very hard to do, right? So let's create another terminal so we can start adding those in. So npm install React Native root toast. Okay, and that's it. Now we have that. And then a couple of things. Okay, so first one, copy slug. I want to do that one. Boom. Copy slug, fairly straightforward. All we do is if there is no slug, return. It takes a slug, string or no value. We protect ourselves here. We say await clipboard dot set string asynchronously, and we basically pass in the slug. Now, if the slug was like this, where it looks something like orange dash happy monkey, format slug would turn this into orange happy monkey. Okay, so this would become that. And the reason why we do this is because this is a valid room name this is our display name. So we need format slug to help us with that. So I've already made life easy for us. I've created the two helper functions. Format slug will basically go ahead and do that. And then inverse format slug will do the opposite, right? So inverse will do the opposite and so forth, right? And then we've got toast.show copied call ID to clipboard. When you press the button, copy slug, anywhere it's used, it'll show a toast on the screen. Now, in order to use that, you have to go ahead and wrap your entire app in a root sibling parent, okay, before you can do any of that. So head over to the top layout, top layout. Okay, so at the top layout, underneath Clerk loaded, we need the root sibling layout, root sibling parent, sorry. So let's go ahead and pull that in like so, root sibling parent, like so. That's how you do it. And that's because if you think about it, the toast is actually being rendered like that next to it, and you can't have two sibling parents next to each other. So this is essentially like a React fragment. Okay, so that allows us to do that. So now we can import copy slug, we can import format slug, and this will basically be responsible for rendering that in the screen. Cool. So once that's done, we have the stream call, the room, and the slug, right? So once this is done building after an eternity of waiting, we can hopefully do it. So build's in progress. It's running the Gradle, which means it shouldn't be too long now. So Android will be done fairly shortly. And then we can go ahead and check this one out, right? So again, the development build, again, you only need to rebuild once you add native dependencies again, because you need to install the native dependency into the app build. The NPM packages can be dynamically added in, but the rest, because they're just node modules, right? But the rest you have to natively install. Okay, let's go. Hi, Sonny, first time I'm watching you live. Yo, what's up, Marco Sang? Good to see you. All right, so that would do the live calling, right? Which we can test once it's ready. In the meantime, what we can do, guys, is let's handle this. So rather than saying demo room, I want to instead go ahead and do, what's it called? I want to create that like funky naming convention, right? So how do we do that? Well, pretty cool. We actually have something called generate slug from random word slug. So let's go over to this npm package, random word slugs, and this one, massive downloads. And basically, you see this elegant green coat and so forth, right? So you guys can check this out. So import generate slug. So first, yes, install it. npm packages, all good. My project is beginning so weird. Yeah, I know. It almost started fresh from back down. Then Sonny did just that. I'm glad I didn't back out and do the first one twice. That does different. Yeah. It's totally normal, dude. Trust me, there's a lot of debugging. Don't give up and restart, right? Only in the beginning is that viable, like what I did, because obviously it was adding loads of different dependencies and changing it up. But after that, obviously you can't just restart everything. You have to debug it and figure it out. Okay, so we added that in. So let's use it now. So here we have the import generate slug from random word slugs. I like this song. It's quite a jam, like a chill vibe. All right, so here, very simply now, we can say, we can create our slug like so. Rather than this, boom. Now, the cool part about this is you can add categories. So I can say color and personality and animals and food. So it could be like orange, angry pizza. All right, a blue, angry, blue, happy banana, all right, or blue, yellow bird. I don't know, whatever the case, right? But it will generate like a random name. Obviously, there could be a clash, right? So I would recommend, if you wanted to, you can add like a UUID to it as well, or whatever the case. But in this case, this is just supposed to be like either, or you can make it 4 letters, right? Because there's a chance that that would be, you know, like unique, right? There's quite a high chance that that's unique. But even if you really wanted to go extreme, you could check beforehand is taken or not, whatever the case, right? And you can even have like kebab casing, camel casing, sentence lower title. I feel like the things I'm saying in this live stream are just jokes. But anyway, so we've got the slug here, right? So generate slug. hit save, and that will go ahead and create a new core. Otherwise, if we come to this room with an ID, it will do the same thing, but it will join the room. So guys, we've actually done most of the stuff. We just need to do UI stuff now, right? So if we go to the join room, let's just quickly build this while the thing's building itself out. And honestly, all of this will come together, right? So this room's easy compared to what we've done so far. So the join room, honestly, straightforward. So we've got the enter the room name. So I'm just going to have a couple of styling options here. This one we're going to have very easily just say flex1. Cool. And right now we're going to have the text saying style padding bold. And remember guys, we're building this right now. So enter the room name. It's going to be here. And then we've got the text input. Okay. So text input, first one here, and black purple tiger, for example, right? Whatever the case. Right, text input, pull it from React Native, and then we've got the room ID, set room ID. Okay, so let's go ahead and use that right now. So that's a piece of state, like so. What a fun morning. It's a good way to jump into a new framework. Yeah, it's cool, man. This is part of it, right? It's part of the fun of being a dev. That's what I mean. Everything is persistence, guys, like perseverance. You just can't quit. That's it. Trust me. Imagine when I'm building them, like the amount of debugging that comes into play. It's crazy. Then we have a touchable opacity. Okay, so underneath this, well, this is where we have the join room button. Okay, now obviously you can customize this screen. I've kept it really simple here, so you can really customize this screen to your heart's content. The touchable opacity here is going to be from React Native. Handle join room will be a function I create, and within the touchable opacity, I simply have a join room button. Now the handle join room function, I'm going to create here, and this is just going to be an asynchronous function. And firstly, a little bit of protective statements. Well, firstly, we're going to check if there's no room, otherwise we don't handle it. Import our helper function. Now, say I added in black purple tiger, it will take that and format it by inverting it. So it will take like, oh, it's a banger. It'll take like black purple tiger and it will make it all lowercase with black purple tiger with hyphens between it, because that's an ID that is supported by GetStream. Cool. Once we've done that, what I can do is I can check the room exists by actually trying to call the room, and instead of going into the room, I just simply do a get call on it, right? So what we do is we do the following. We say we need the client firstly. So the client, again, we're surrounded inside of the parent is inside of the higher order components. We have access to the client. The layout has the stream video client being passed through, so we've got access to it here via the hook. Client.call, we passed in the slug, so same thing as we did in the other room, but here is the interesting one. So this will return a room inside of it, right? So it'll have a call response. Now if it does have a room, it'll show up here, and then what we can do is we can send the user to /call/ the slug, which is the ID room. Okay, and that's going to help out a lot. So Roshan goes, thanks Sonny for these amazing stuff. Just wanted to say, like, you're helping so much in the web development journey. Got the job as a full stack dev. Yes, dude, that's what I'm talking about, Jay. Screenshot that. Absolutely winning right now. That is huge, man. Just all I ask is you guys hit that like button if you're enjoying this content. All right, next up we need the router. So let's go ahead and get the router so far. So we go ahead and pull that in like so. Router.push call slug. Okay, and then I don't even need that. If it works, it will go ahead. Now we can console log it out. All right, this song reminds me of the Twitch days. If you're ever watching me on Twitch, you will know what I'm talking about. This was like my vibe when I was prepping builds. Now, if anything goes wrong, so for example, the room was not found, we can do a catch, right? So in this case, we can do the catch statement. And then here we can do a toast. So toast, we can pull it from React Native root toast. Basically say, whoops, looks like the room you're trying to join does not exist, right? And we're just going to use these enums here for the long duration and the centering of it. And we're going to give it a shadow as well. Okay, so now, guys, let's see firstly, are we done with the builds? Come on, we must be done with those builds. Okay, good news. We are done with the build. I think we're done with Android. I don't think we're done with iOS. So yeah, Android. So iOS is queued up, but that's fine. We can test with Android. It's all good. So I'm going to click open with Orbit. It's going to download the builds. Okay. So we already have our phone running, so that should come through on this phone afterwards. So I'll wait for it. Let's see, where is Orbit at? So go into our little helper. Orbit, it's installing it. As you can see, it's now bundling it, and we should get past the error screen. I think the clipboard might break it. I hope not. Damn it, I knew it. I knew it. Okay, but if we dismiss it, hopefully we can still get past that. All right, guys, so yeah, you've seen the pattern here, right? You have to, for God's sake, we need to create a build for it because we installed a new dependency. I knew it would be a pain. I just knew it. Oh, struggle. Anyway, you guys, I hope you don't feel alone now. You guys know the struggle, right? So go up. Let's do I'm sorry, not iOS, Android. Let's see, will it still work? No, it's not gonna work. I mean, we can actually get past it, to be fair. So root join is extraneous. So 1 minute, we've got too many roots here. So okay, so we've screwed up somewhere as well, guys. So here, tabs, we have, oh, that's fine. Index ID join. Okay. All right, so we have one issue there, which is interesting. However, if I'm honest, I think this is happening because we haven't got the build set up correctly. So sucks, but let's do that. So I'm going to cancel this build, and we're going to spin up another build. Okay. So yes, it requires a tremendous amount of patience. It does. But trust me, once you've installed your main dependencies, it's not like you're installing dependencies every time, so it's fine. EAS build profile development simulator, or let it do its builds. Okay, now I'm pretty sure we're done for the native dependencies, so we won't have to do that again. Second, that this channel is where I truly started to learn. I love that, man. Raoshan goes, my request to all of you, just follow these tutorials and code along. One day you'll get there for sure. Thank you so much, man. My concurrency limit reached. Oh, okay, it's waiting to enter a queue. Don't worry about it. That's fine, right? Again, you can set it all up locally if you want. I ain't gonna go through that. It's quite a long setup for everyone. It's a little bit different depending on your Java version, for Android, all that stuff. So, okay, let's carry on. So, in the meantime, we're gonna build the rest of the app out with using our designs, and then we're basically gonna, once it's all done, we're gonna debug and get it up. Okay, so we've done this screen. We've actually done this screen. Now when we basically let's go to our join. All right. Once that's done, it will push us from this screen to this screen. We haven't got this pop-up yet, so we could do that. Yeah, let's do that. All right. So when we go to the ID screen, adding that's easy, right? After we join an existing call, all we have to do is show a toaster. So yeah, so after we set the call, or before we even set the call, have a toast pop up here, right? So I'm going to just simply show a toaster here. And this would basically say call created successfully, And what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to import it. And here on press of the notification, you can do the copy slug. Remember, copy slug will go ahead and show a copied call ID to clipboard. So easy as. Now we can copy when we tap the call ID to share. There we go. Easy as. I think we need to add, I actually think we need to add permission to do that even. I'm just checking inside of app.json on my other build. Do we need to ask to use the clipboard? No. As far as I'm aware, I don't think we do. Okay, I forgot to do one thing as well, guys. So, I wish I did that earlier. Damn it, sorry guys. So here in iOS, your app will fail, right? Abo, thank you so much, dude. I appreciate you. $10 donation. You're the man. I appreciate that. Thank you, dude. On iOS, you have to give a reason inside of input. So basically what's going to happen now, and I'm so sorry if you get to this point and you are like, my app kept breaking because of that. You need to add in your iOS simulator something called an info plist with a reason why you're using the camera. right? So in this case here, info plist, ns camera usage description, ns microphone usage description. And okay, so here's a little trick. If your app ever crashes and it says, you know, Expo dev app crashed, it will say reopen or it'll say report. Click report, and I guarantee if you open it up, it would have said, if you looked at it closely, it says the app needs to ask for permissions to inside of the NS camera usage description section, something like that. And that's where I first found it as well. So it's all about basically exploring and debugging, but I'm so sorry, I should have included that before. You need to add that in, guys. The info plist is very important. Oh no, does that mean it's gonna my dev build's gonna suck? Let's cancel
another one. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm a pop star, not a doctor. It's just calling my phone.
There's queue progress starting in about 10 minutes. That one, waiting to enter the queue, concurrency limit reached. Okay, I'm gonna actually cancel and do it again. I know. So that one's let's have a look which builds are being built. So Android, let's cancel all of the builds and let's do it again, because that was a final change that needed to be done. And let's do this one as well. Let's cancel that one. And you know what? I keep doing this. Okay, so cancel all of the builds for now, and I'm going to do a refresh. And by the time we finish the app, our development builds will be done. We can debug it, and while we debug it, we can go ahead and do the backend deployment to Vercel. There we go. All right, there we go. So you see, this is live. This is why React Native live streaming is much more chaotic, because of the debugging. But your boy's here. I ain't going anywhere. I'm not quitting. I'm here to show you how we get past it. All right. I've canceled. I think I've over canceled things. Right. So this is canceled. Yeah, canceled. Okay, cool. So boom, all platforms. Now it will build out for all of them. Cool. Let that do its thing. Right. In the meantime, let's carry on building stuff. So I want to build the screen here. Okay. So this screen will show me all of the calls that are previously there. Now, the logic that I've done, and obviously you can implement on top of this, but I basically said if everyone's left a call, the call is technically ended. It hasn't actually ended, but if nobody's in the call for a certain period of time, the call ends on the back end. So I just classified it as ended. But you could technically join an empty room and it will reopen. But anyway, it's fine, right? I'm telling you the truth. That's how honest I am. I'm telling you the truth of that, right? But in this case, we're going to have a toggle for all calls, all my calls, and it's simply going to show all of the calls. Now, if you have got a call that has people inside of it, it will go ahead and allow you to click into that call to join the call as well. Okay. Once we've done that, everything will be done and it will work. It will work. Famous last words. Okay. So with that in mind, let that do its thing. Yeah, Android build, queue progress starting in about 10 minutes, right? So that's fine. This is like everything's on this moment of working. Okay, so at this point, let's go ahead and go to our index and let's start building it out. So here is where we're going to go ahead and do what we need. So first up, we need a couple of things. We're going to need the video client, because we're going to need to do a little bit of a connection sort of check to see which videos are about. We're going to need the user, right? The logged in user. I'm going to need to keep track of all of the calls. So in this case, I'm going to import the calls. So let's go ahead and import that. Let's import the call from React Native SDK. I'm also going to bring in the router, because I'm going to route the user afterwards. We're going to have is refreshing. So I don't know if I showed it, but you pull to refresh to show the latest things that have been added in. So I'm even going to implement pull to refresh. We're going to have my calls toggle, which is basically going to be that toggle at the top. So my calls versus all calls. We're going to do that. And then we're also going to have sign out, which we've done. Okay, cool. So we've got our little prep work done. Let's start doing stuff. Okay, cool. So first up, let's fetch all the calls, right? Well, as soon as the component mounts, I want to fetch all the calls. So first up, how do we do this? Well, use effect. Simple as, right? Use effect. We want to run it when the component mounts for the first time, and for the first time only, or when you change is my calls. Is my calls is this toggle. Okay, this is going to be simply referring to this toggle. So if you click on this right here, that's going to go ahead and do it. Yay, it all works. Let's get this. Nice, Steven. Awesome stuff. I'm so glad. Your one worked before mine. I'm glad. I'll say that's when you can dev in confidence, right? So here we're going to do fetch calls. So in this case, I'm going to create a thing called fetch calls. And let's go ahead and build that. So here I'm going to say const fetch calls equals asynchronous bit of code. And we're going to basically have a defensive programming statement. If there's no client or if there's no user, return. Next step, we're going to query for the calls. Now, this is a step that I want you to pay attention to, okay? So we're going to query for the calls. So client.query calls, and then this returns all of the calls, right, from the client. So we'll query the API for calls matching the given filters, and inside I pass an object. Here I can pass in something called filter conditions, okay? Now here for the filter conditions, I'm going to say if is my calls, then I'm going to add in a bunch of filters. So right now, by default, we have no filter conditions, okay? But what I can do here is I can say, is my calls, then it's going to do this set of filters. Otherwise, it's going to do that set of filters. So otherwise, it's going to do nothing else. It will have some filters included. And now inside of it, I ain't going to go into too much detail with it, but really fairly straightforward. It's just the or filter, which has two or like values that it's checking against. If it's created by me or if I'm a member of a current call. So that's how you filter according to the GetStream API. Okay. Then we're going to sort by the created at date. Okay. So outside of this block, we're going to sort by created at, and this is ascending, I believe, right? And then we do watch is true. And this is supposed to have a subscription. So basically this is actually on the server side. So you can then enhance this to say it will become real time. I haven't done that. I've done a pull to refresh mechanism. But I'm just being honest with you, but that's how you can go ahead and do it, right? And then on the front end, you may have edge cases where someone leaves a call and there's like I want all of the active calls to be always at the top. So I'm always going to do a client side little sort here of the, what's it called, based on the participant count. So if somebody is inside, basically all the calls where someone's active, I'm going to push those to the top of the screen, right? So that's the ones that we want to do. Right, cool. So, and then we set calls to sorted calls. So this will give me all the calls, right? Simple as that. Now, when we have a list inside of React Native, the more efficient way of rendering a list is actually called a flat list. Okay. So a flat list is how we will render this out. So if we go down to hello world, you're signed in. We don't need that anymore. We're past them levels. We can say flat list. And we're going to pull that from React Native, okay? Now, for the flat list, we're going to have a self-closed component, and it requires a couple of things. Firstly, the data. The data is calls, okay? Key extractor, basically, is how we would, like, for example, in web dev, when we map, we have to pass a key in. The same applies here with React Native, with flat lists. You have to say, how do we get the key of every item that we're looping through in the list, okay? Then we have the is refreshing. So is refreshing is referring to, refreshing. This is basically referring to if you do pull to refresh. We're going to have a on refresh, which is going to be basically handle refresh. Okay. And the handle refresh function, fairly straightforward, guys. It's basically going to go ahead and have a wrapper around the fetch calls. So set is refreshing true, await fetch calls, set is refreshing false. Okay. You could actually rewrite this using the use transition hook and then use the is pending. I'm pseudocoding here. So you could go ahead and do this. You can have is pending, you start transition, basically wrap this inside of it. And then your is pending would be safe to assume that you're using it. But again, it's really down to how far you want to take it. That would always be correct based on the asynchronous behavior. So probably the technical way to do it, but I'm going to show you without doing that. So very simply, it's loading and then it's set false once it's done. Easy as, right? Now, next up, we're going to style the padding of the container. So padding of the container, we're going to give it an extra bit of padding at the bottom. So when you scroll all the way down, because we've got this like extra custom nav bar here, I just want to make sure you can see the last element. So I've given it a bit of padding at the bottom of the container. And then we have the render item. And this is the basically the main thing. Okay, so rendering item is where we need it all to basically work the way we want it, right? So here, first up, we're gonna have touchable opacity. So that's the first thing, touchable opacity, and that is gonna be a button, right? Now, this one is basically gonna resemble all of this, right? So this is where all of that stuff's gonna come into play. So first up, let's just say a bit of text and the item ID. So just to see if we've got something on screen. Now, really hope that these builds are done. Come on. I want to see this app now. It's been a minute since we've seen the app. Oh, come on, man. All right, we've got to give it time. We'll give it time. I should have really done that before, but anyway, you can see where it takes patience. But anyway, okay, it's fine. We're going to build this layout. So this bit right here, okay? Well, first up, before we do that, should we do the talk? No, let's stick on task, right? Let's stay with it, right? Touchable opacity. So first up, touchable opacity, the key, on press, and disabled, right? So touchable opacity, key is item ID, on press is handle join room when we pass the item ID. So if you click it, it will be, on join room, and we're going to disable click basically if no one's in the room, because you only join rooms where somebody is in there. Cool. And then a bit of styling. Now, I ain't going to go too far into the styling, but you guys can see for yourself that this right now is going to style it. It's going to gray it out if basically if it's disabled. So if the participant count is 0, and this will actually say call ended now. I've changed it. And this will say it will be a white background if it's active, right? And obviously, if it's disabled, you can't click it. Now, handle join room is very actually straightforward. Handle join room is just going to be a router push. So basically it will look something like this. Takes an ID, it pushes you to /calls/slug. And because that has been built in the way that we've set it up, it will work. Well, hopefully I'm putting a big gamble here on that working. I've coded it. I'm pretty sure this is all gonna work. All right. So in this case now, when we have that, when we click on this, it will basically, if you think about it, what it's gonna do is it's gonna go to the join call basically, as in it does the same behavior as this, right? So it will basically the exact same behavior as that, but instead it's just basically pre-filling proud bashful dinner inside of start new call, and then you'll be inside of the call here with that pre-filled ID, and then basically you can join other people's rooms accordingly, right? Now we just need to make it look pretty. So first up, I'm going to say if the phone call is active, it's going to show two different icons. So show this if it's active, this if it's not active. So easy enough, right? We can go ahead and do this. Import the feather Expo icons from here, and so forth. Where is it? Feather material icons. There we go. And we're going to say phone off based on the participant account. This basically if it's empty, phone off. Otherwise, it'll say phone call. Okay. And then we've got the image. The image will be the created by image. This is the user's image basically. All right, so let's go ahead and pop that one in. We import image from React Native. Get rid of the text there as well. And then we have the view. So this bit, a bit more of a trickier one because it's quite a big chunk, but I'll try and break it down the best I can. So we've got a view. And firstly, this view is going to have flex of 1. And it's going to be justifying the content space between. So right now, what we're actually building is this. Okay. So we're actually building that chunk right now. So everything inside this view would be relating to that. Okay. So here we have another view nested. Okay. So we actually have another view nested. This view is going to have its own styling. This one's going to have a flex direction row, space between, and everything aligned. So this is going to be responsible basically for, I believe it's this part. So, I mean, we'll dial it in anyway and we'll see. So here we have a view with 2 pieces of text, right? So I'll show you exactly what I mean. So we have this chunk. Okay, and just to make it easy, what I'll do is I'll pop this here so you can see. So I'm going to pop in a bit of code. So between the 2 markers is where we've pasted in. So it's just 2 text values. The creator that name, or it will just have the email address if you don't have the name. So you will not have the name if you signed in via just username and a password, via email and password. If you signed in via Google, it will have a name, right? So use the name, otherwise it will use your first part of your email and it'll split it at the @ sign. And then underneath it will have the email address, okay? So that's the first bit. And then after that, we have another view. So again, I hope these little markers are actually helping out a bit. I think they are. All right, so between these markers now, we have another much bigger chunk. This one might be a bit too much if I show you in a big thing. So in this case, what we'll do a view. And within this, we have, I'm going to slowly break it down. So we have a piece of text, okay, which formats a slug. Boom, like so. Strange metro keeps crashing on my PC. I want to refresh the app in the emulator, but I'm getting hot refresh on my phone. Whatever, using the phone for now, but the reload on the phone is so fast, I'm impressed. Yeah, the phone's much quicker. Now, Metro, when it crashes on your PC, make sure you check the report. I guarantee it could be regarding the permissions, right? Okay, so is it done yet? Oh, come on. All right. But yes, at this point, what would have been way quicker is if I scanned it with my phone. But stupidly, I'm on the iOS beta. But in 3 days, WWDC or whatever it is, the iOS event comes out. I'm going way off topic. But yeah, hopefully I should be off that. So the future videos won't get affected by it. Okay, so we have the text. Next up, we have a view with a bunch of stuff inside of it. So here we have, I'm going to do again our markers. These are just to help you see where I'm working between. So if I get rid of the old markers now, you'll see. Yeah, so here. Now we have a view. Okay. Now this view is going to be responsible for a few things now. So this will be actually here, right? So it'll be like this part here. So it will either say call ended, or it will say, I really need to see the app right now because I can't. Coding in this nested level is really going to get messy otherwise. I'm going to make a few mistakes otherwise. Basically, what I can do is I can pop in this chunk because that's actually what I need. So, almost log. Okay, so here, what I'm going to do is, between these two markers, this is what I need. Firstly, let's import the vector icon. So here we go. I can show you now. That's better actually. So in between the two markers, what I did is I popped in a view. All right, so this view goes from here to the end of the marker. And then we have a flex direction row, align item center. We're checking if the participant count is 0. If it's 0, this part will say call ended in red text. Okay, this part here will say, call ended in red text, right? I don't know why this is happening. Right, yeah, there we go. And then otherwise it will have this, but it'll have a nice little border around it. Okay, so in this case, we've got the view, nice little border around it. We'll have the person sign, which is this one, the users. So this is that Entepio icon. And then we have the number of users, which is participant count, which is here. Okay, done. Cool. Is it done? Yes, guys, it's done. Let's try. Oh, moment of truth. Okay, we're going to click open with Orbit. Little water break in the meantime. This video is madly underrated for on the like count, guys. Smash the like button if you're watching this right now, because this stuff takes ages to build, right? So let's see. Let's do X. Okay. Oh my God. Like, come on. I mean, there's some UI components, but like, that's sick, right? If I click join call, oh, just look at that. Like, yes. All right. I'm going to fix that top part. I don't like that bit. We'll build that bit out. But for now, if I click start a call, wait for it. Yes. While using the app. Yes. Oh, look at that. But we got a little bit of an error. These are easy fixes now. So quick little fixes around here. That call screen, easy little fix. We go to the ID. That's because we do not have, inside the room, I believe, we do not have a flex of 1. A flex of 1. Boom. Look at that. Love it. All right. And now if I was to hang up and come back on, so you see, I can show, yeah, look, there's a call there. It takes a second, which is why I say, oh, there we go. Look, we got the stream. So on Android, you'll get this little dummy stream, right? Right now it's been a bit weird, but it will work. So let's see what's going on there. So here, cannot find native. Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, anyway. Refresh. All right, so here. Start a new call. We should get the little screen, the little guy there. I mean, for some reason I'm not getting it, but anyway, it's fine. All right, but anyway, this will work, right? So, and if you click this, look, copied ID to clipboard, you can see proof there. And now, if I was to open up a second phone, so let's open up a second Pixel 7. Yeah. And use EAS. So I'm actually selecting, do this, and let's do Pixel 7. So if I click on that one, it should install it over here now. So select build from EAS, video calling app, boom, Android. And from that, it should start doing it. Oh, open with Orbit. Okay, so now it should start doing it. Come on. Okay, here we are. So let's log in with let's do a little actual simple login. So sign up, Sonny. Here we've got that stupid header shown error, which I can fix later. Sonny.Sangha +123 at J. Get ready to give me the code, please. Let's do a little password. The verification code is I have it, I believe it is. I get an email saying 932227. So 932227, verify the email. I am now logged in. And now we can see, I'll fix that issue, don't worry about it. You can see that Sonny's calls active, adventurous, lemon, refrigerator. But what I want to do is I want to show you that even if we click on this route, right, and we go ahead and do adventurous and join room, that it joins the room. So while using the app, and look at that, guys, we also have another user in the room. Amazing stuff, right? We should also be getting the dummy signal, so you'll get that little character thing, so you can actually test it. For some reason it's being a bit weird, it's not letting me do that, but that's okay for now. Let's close it, and let's maybe do a little bit of a hard restart with it. So what I would say is you go to your server, let's do Expo start-C, let it rebundle, and I believe we will be good. Destroy that like button. There we go. Pixel 8 Pro. Then you can open up the Pixel 7, press A. Or to be honest with you, what you do is you just open that up and it will force it to build after it's bundled. So there you go. Even here, if we do R, so then it will force it onto this phone. Yeah. Okay. So this one was actually, I believe, oh God, I forgot what I logged in as. Let's try it now anyway. So start new call. Did we get little guy? Problem on the project and web pair connection. Okay, so this one we can catch the error actually. This one it's a normal error, it's known. So right now, I believe so let's go into here. Yeah. So it's almost perfect, except we're freezing here. I ran into this issue last time as well and I fixed it. I can't remember what it was. Debugging, fun. We'll fix it anyway. Cool. So in the meantime, is iOS done? Let's see. Hopefully it's done. Okay, it's doing it. That's fine. Patience is the virtue. Oh, wow. Hasn't even started building anyway. I'm going to screw that. I'm going to do it myself. All right. So anyway, the build part. Okay. So actually everything is done. We just need to get it working. So get the final bit working. So ID, let's have a look here. So I'm missing a very simple thing here somewhere. I need to do it on the catch, I believe. Inside of the room. Is it inside the room? Okay, so let's log in firstly. Let's sign up. Let's do a email sonny.sangha +123@gmail.com. And let's do an example. So I'm going to just sign in with a password. That's our test account now. Email address is taken. Oh, I think I already did it. So let me try to log in with that one. So sonny.sangha +123@gmail.com. And then let's log in with that. Sign in. Okay, so I'm signed in. Cool. Let's do start a new call. Okay, so it's loading the call, which is great. It doesn't freeze, which is great. It's just weirdly that it's not showing the static image. Usually it shows that little alien guy, which is fine. It's okay. I mean, the main thing is that works, right? If you test that on your phone, you'll notice that it does work as well. So let's pull open this phone. Let's see if the call actually comes through now. Again, let's log in with this one. So, and we'll sort out the little part at the top afterwards. So the design aspect, we'll sort out the all calls in a second. Deep link received. Oh, okay, interesting. And forget that. Just do video callings. Just do that. Okay. I'm screwing up so many things right now. Let's do Command J, A. There we go. That's what I needed. Yes, it wasn't loading the correct build. Okay, now we're back. So we've got two phones open. We went through all the music again. Wow, I'm going to open up Jay's playlist. But we're near the end, guys. Bear with me. Just a second. We are close to the end. I was going to say, we didn't go to the end of that. I was confused as hell. Okay, so here, start a new call. And then if I was to refresh, there's a problem. Yeah, so I need to catch that. Oh, I have this somewhere. It's a silly issue. I believe it's in... Okay, so a couple of areas where we can check. Layout.tsx. I believe it could be here. No. This is a normal issue that I've experienced before. However, usually it was just a warning, and we were able to bypass it. I'm wondering if that's because of another thing I'm doing though. So if I was to join this call as well. Okay, the good news is you can see that there is two members in this call, which is awesome. So you can see like you and the other member. There we go. So that's perfect. The other member doesn't have a name because they signed up, which is great. So we've got this working great. Once we have the iPhone there, we can go ahead and show it in full force. But as you can see now, it says if we end this call, it will take a second to reflect. But you see one person ended. And then in a second, that will be gone. Once the call is registered as finished, that will be gone. So I want to show you the final part, which is the actual top part. So we go to index.tsx. Let's go ahead and do that little all calls, my calls toggle. So that's fairly straightforward, fairly easy how to do it. Index.tsx. Let's do it. Oh, I know why it's happening. I know why it's happening. Wow, that is a crazy problem to have. Okay, so the reason why all of this is happening is in the top parent layout. So top parent layout, you actually need a gesture root handler above it all. That's why. All right, so here, you need to actually have this in order for the video rendering to work properly. it was in the documentation somewhere. I remember it. It's because of the way the videos are rendering. I don't know. I can't remember fully, but you need to add a gesture root handler. I believe that will fix something here that I'm figuring out problem wise. But anyway, yeah, that's a big problem that I was facing. Oh guys, oh my God, I had the video off. That was it. Wow, are you kidding me? I had the video off the entire time. The whole, wow. Okay, you can just turn the video on. Mad. All right, if you flip the camera, no, there's the alien dude. All right, so if I click on this now, and if you press option, you can actually, on this phone, option, and then WSAD, like you can actually move around this room, and it shows on the other phone, like that's simulating a conversation. So like obviously, like, hey, check out my other room, blah, 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 right? There you go, awesome stuff. And go up and down with, so basically WSAD, QE is how you do it, right? That's awesome. So that's how you do a little test. Oh, thank God. That was driving me crazy. Wow. Okay. Now let's just see, is the iPhone done? Okay, iPhone's gonna take forever, so you can just trust me on that one. But in this case, boom. Okay, amazing stuff. Let's finish strong now with this, and then we can deploy the Next.js app, and then we are good. And I want to try and get all of that done fairly quick. So index.tsx. Jason, I'm dying. Yeah, oh man, crazy. Everyone's focused as hell, dude. Let me know who's coding along with me as well as we're working right now. So where's my switch? Okay, yeah, so here we have it. So underneath the dialog container, here we have it. So I have a view. Inside my view, I have text, which looks like so. I have text, which sets all calls to false. See, all calls, there we go. And then I have another one, which is actually for my calls. So my calls, and this will set it to true. Now we have this, so all calls, my calls, and you see how it is toggling already, yeah? Which is really nice. So that's cool. And then this one, by the way, we just say is my calls. We just flip the color. So you can, you can flip it this way, right? So that my calls or all calls. You see that? We already set that up earlier. And you see how it says call ended as well. Everything's really nice. There's a bit of styling problems there, which we need to address. I'll fix that afterwards. I didn't have access to the build because we were doing it before the dev build. And I need a switch. So a switch is fairly easy, guys. What we do is inside of here, we do a switch. We import that from React Native. Track color, false and true are going to be the same color, because right now this isn't really going to be a switch for the typical use case. It's just going to be like a toggle between two different modes. Thumb color, this is just styling, and it will set it to whatever it isn't. So it will toggle the opposite. And then to get this looking the way we want it, we do a flex direction row with a bit of styling. So, and just like that, we have it. Look, all calls. And if I click these as well, look at that. Nice. And you see how now, because it's added in a bit of padding, the absolute over here is fine. So that's perfect, right? Nice, cool. That's cool, that's working great. All right, I create my own call. And then inside of this one, we can go ahead and do like copy. The only thing I noticed was it didn't pop up saying new call created. And that phone is a bit, yeah, so this one's a bit glitchy. But let's do create a new, yeah, so yeah, oh, it does do it, yeah, create a new call. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm telling you it's because I'm live. Mine, I wasn't experiencing this stuff before. Like, yeah, it keeps throwing me out as well. I don't have my other app running, do I? I feel like because I have a few things open, it's something's getting mad confused and it's getting messed up. But what we can do is we can do Android, sorry. That's really taking the craziness like that in building. All right, let's open it now. Let's see. Yeah, that's gonna fail because obviously we're in an edge case right now. Oh, come on, help me out here. Come back. Yep, there we go. Start a new call. This one is failing. Can't find a call with default ID dashboard. This is not the correct build. This is the wrong build. There we go. What's up, dude? Thank you for tuning in. So here, start a new call. There we go. Okay, so that's a call working. Ashamed Jolly Lion. And let's try one more time. Join call. Props for Sonny. Debugging live isn't easy. Thank you, Rui Costa. You have no idea how much that comment means to me. Thank you. And joining a room. Boom. There we go. Thank the Lord. Wow. You got our little alien friend, right? Wow, we did it. Okay, so there you go. We got everything working the way we wanted it. The call's reflecting here. As soon as we exit, if I do a quick refresh, you can see like 2 people in that split second. And then that will eventually switch to 1. Let's address some of the styling. This is not exactly as I want it. So let's fix that quickly. And then let's do deployments, right? Obviously, we're not going to deploy the app today, but we're going to deploy the Next.js backend, right? So remember, we did a lot in this build. It was insane. We're going to go back to... I forgot to style this one. Here we are. So font weight bold, that one was never styled actually. It was more so the it was the one with ashamed Jolly Lion, that one. So it was actually the view around this one. So it was that. So that's centering it. That's in row. This is the problem. I was deving without seeing what I could see. And now I've messed up one part. Flex end. There it is. Width 100. Here you are. Boom. Thank you. There we are. All right. So that was literally what I was looking for. And also, you see the top there? I don't like that. That's not nice how we've done that. So where I added the switch, that view is not correct. That one, this is little guy's jokes. It should be like that. So I've messed up with the touchable opacity. I mean, that we could fix fairly straightforward. We could do 1010 even. Yeah, 1010. Like, it doesn't need to be in the corner like that. So, I mean, so I think we did it because of the overall out. Yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah, the offset was 10. I was wondering, I literally calculated it. That's why I was like, yeah, 10 is about off 10. So that's correct, yeah. So if I do a... I'll do an add. Oh, Hadeep says this project looks insane. Thank you, dude. Look at that. Boom. Perfect gaps. Yeah. And then my calls. Yeah, cool. So now if I was to join it, I can click it. Boom. We can join the call. And we have proof in the pudding. Go live with it. You can see the little alien dude in a second. Where is he? Sometimes he's shy. He doesn't come out. Maybe this one will come out. Yeah, there we go. This little alien dude's out. All right. The best YouTube channel. Thanks for all you do in the community. Yo, look at that. Guys, it means so much after I've been coding for that long. Yeah, like, I really appreciate you lot, because it does get like hard after like a couple of hours sometimes, especially the amount of debugging today. Insane. Really insane amount of debugging. So let's see, is it working? Yeah, there we go, guys. Look at that. If I flip the camera, remember, when you're in a simulator, it's prone to problems happening, guys. It's okay though. You can see that is streaming video from one device to another, and this will work with iOS, but iOS just doesn't want to give me a build. So in this case, what I can do is I could just start another medium iPhone API. So let's just do 3 Androids. Screw it, I'll do that. All right. So I have another Android phone here, and then we're going to deploy Vercel. So I want to test it on 3 phones. We can log into the same account as well. It's completely fine. But I just want to prove to you that group chat is working, because I don't want to end it on a case of someone being like, he didn't finish it properly, right? I want to show you I did it all, right? So this one, the only thing I can imagine is we actually have to do a build on that one. So here, I mean, we can start development. So I don't know if this is going to be the correct dev build, but we can try. I don't think it's the correct dev build. Okay, it might be. Let's do sign in with Google. I think this phone is set up correctly. Let's have a look. Yes, it was. It's in Arabic because I'm in Dubai. This simulator sucks. Out of the rest of them, compared to the others, this one's crap. Like, this one's so slow. But anyway, Mysterious Salmon Garden, right? That's the call ID that we need to join from this super slow phone. Okay, so this one, yeah, this one's just weird as hell. All right, so this, I don't think this is, oh, it is there. Look, Mysterious Salmon Garden. Yeah, so I can click it. And it's got loud as hell notifications as well. But as you can see, boom, this slow ass phone got inside, right? Oh god, this is terrible, dude. This one, wait, just okay, this simulator is the problem, yeah, not these ones. This simulator is the problem. Just want to make that very apparently clear. And if I came on, we should see a little alien dude if this one ever loads. Or I could just use this one to make the alien come up. Okay, so there we go. We should see alien dude here, and he should pop up at some point here. This phone is dead, right? So don't use the medium phone API. That one sucks, right? Use one of these Pixel ones in AVD. But there you go. Yeah, there you go. At least it shows you the proof, right? This phone's crashed, right? Just forget that phone. No, forget that. Yeah, use the actual emulators. They're better than the fake ones that it tries. I would use the Pixel Pro and all that kind of stuff as well. They're just so much faster as well. Okay, cool. That's awesome, right? Let's deploy it. So first things first, go back over to the backend now. And then in here, I've already actually set up with Vercel. So you just need to install the Vercel CLI. I've done that, but you can go ahead and do that as well, right? So install Vercel and then simply hit Vercel. Right, set up and deploy. Yes, if you're not logged in at this point, you will have to log in. Sonny Sangha is the one that we want. Link to an existing project, no project name, all good to keep it the same. Which directory, the default. This will upload the code to Vercel, and this will fail. This will fail for a normal reason. Click yes here. This will fail for absolutely normal reason because it needs the environment variables, right? So hit open, little hack that I like to do. What I'll say here is make sure you're just logged in. So I am not in the correct profile. Open in my personal. All right, so in this case, I'm going to go into the build. So here, go to settings, go to environment variables. You can see there are no environment variables, right? So at this point, go to your env.local. You thought I was going to slip, but I'm not, right? I'm going to copy all my environment variables, go back, head over here now, paste them. So here, paste them. So I'm actually here, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to, you can see basically that's better, right? So paste, and you can see it pastes in the values over like so. And then what you do is on the side, you basically, oh, well, that was great. Well, you click on save, right? And then, you know, the intentions there, right? In this case, you got the GetStream and publishable key. And now we can go ahead and do Vercel again. In fact, you can cancel that and do Vercel -- prod because I want to push it straight to prod to get the final URL that I want. So do Vercel prod. That would have failed previously, I can guarantee you, because of the, I can already tell you that's going to be, it's going to say missing API stream keys. So error. Who wants to bet? Who wants to bet? Look at this. There you go. Missing GetStream API keys. I knew it. All right. Now if we go here to deployment logs, boom. Not deployment. This one. Queued building. Preview production. Cancel this one. Don't care about that. This one is the one. That's dope, right? So that will do it. Let's see if the never-ending story is working. The iOS build. Okay, that's crazy. I don't know. Maybe it's caught in some like. That's just insane. Maybe I don't know. Maybe my account's like hit or something. But they shouldn't take that long for the iOS. But either way, we can see it on Android working, so it's good. And like I said, you can always install it on your phone with the QR code. Yours will work, and I definitely recommend you do that, by the way. Install it on your phone with the QR code. It's so much better to test with. I just can't show you now because I have the iOS beta on my phone, and I'm never doing that again because it really restricted me with what I could show you. But yeah, anyway, we make do. All right, so in this case, you can see, look, generate user token is there, deployment, assigning custom domains, boom, and that is the one we want. Cool. So in this case, I want that URL. Okay, so I want to go to that URL. I'm going to copy this URL, go over to my React Native app, go to the React Native app, right? And we're going to paste this one without the /. So now this is the backend deployed. Hit save, and what I need you to do to test it all works now is go over here and cut your ngrok. All right, so cut the ngrok and cut your server. So technically I'm not running locally now, and what we should find is you're going to have to do a hard refresh. So you're going to make sure you cut your server, Expo start-c, and I think I don't know if you would have to restart your dev build here. I think you can, yeah, you can swap out your environment keys. It should be fine. Here is where we need to do the Android build again. So here I want you to close the app, A, and it will start up our app. Digital Alchemist setup is a little janky with Expo and Android SDK. Not sure if it's one or both, as I've never used either. Having it on the PC and phone together helps me know if the error is real or janky. I'm getting, yeah, it really does. It's one of those things that it will just take a lot of time and practice to really iron out a couple of bugs. But once it works, then it's good, right? But it does take a bit of patience. That's why I really try and tell everyone. But look, in this case right now, how do we test this works? Okay. Well, all you need to do is go to your Next.js, your Vercel app, go to logs, click on live. Okay. And I already know it's working because I can see something, boom. Right. And what I want you to do is basically here now. So can you see how generate user token was already created? Yeah. But in this case, this should be working. If I refresh this phone, I should get a real user token in a second. So let's see. I'm here. I'm in the app. If I click, look, boom, user token. So I was given a user token, which means if I start a new call, GetStream, I should have a valid GetStream token and it should start a phone call. Boom, it works. That is sick. And if we go ahead and do that, yes, it works. Amazing stuff. And that is the backend deployed as well. That's awesome, guys. The app is pretty much done. Look at this. Look, this one, I don't know if it will work, as in I need to restart this one properly, but let's see anyway. So did it? Yeah, look, it done it. Yeah. So you can see it's hitting the real backend now. Absolutely awesome stuff. So that's how you launch your backend server. We use Next.js. You can obviously use Supabase, whatever you want for that. Does not matter. You just need a Node.js function basically that's running what we need to like some endpoint. And this peer connection, oh, this one's annoying. It's not a problem. I've ran into that before. Before it was a warning. But anyway, it's a very small issue. I don't know. Maybe it's like the current thing that I'm messing around with. But you can see like, look, it doesn't. Yeah, anyway, but it's there. It works, right? If we flip this camera, that we turn this one on, we flip this just to prove to you that two cameras are sending signals. This one's staring at the TV. If we flip this one, he's staring at a dog. Yeah. So then you can see both in the top right. And also awesome about this, guys, that if you click the top right, you can actually do everything that you can do. You can mute. Everything works the way we expect it. Boom. Amazing, amazing stuff, guys. All right. On that note, I think we're going to do a wrap up of today's build. Look at that. When I exit the call, works perfectly as well. Everything from the my calls, the filtering, we have full functionality, sign up flows, absolutely incredible stuff. Clay Huntley got such incredible work that you do for everyone in the community. Sonny, thank you for all the work that you do for everyone. Dude, thank you so much. Honestly, like the fact that, especially when it goes a bit silent in the end, when there's that intense focus and I start seeing the messages come through, I'm like, oh, thank God. I hope I just want to over deliver on value for you guys. It took me a lot of prep work and getting this done to get this out. But all of this code is available in the Pupper GitHub repo. And remember guys, if you use the link in the description to sign up to GetStream, you even get a bonus $100 worth of free credits if you want to upgrade to the pay-as-you-go tier. So remember, the free tier is what I was using. It's absolutely free, but the pay-as-you-go tier, you get $100 free. So I would definitely recommend you go and check it out. And remember, if you can, go through my link. Even with Clerk, when you sign up with them, go through the link in the description, because it allows me to keep doing these videos for absolutely free. And that's where I can give you guys the most value possible, right? This was an absolutely huge build. It was incredible for many reasons, because contrary to my normal builds, we had loads of debugging in today's video. We took a design schema like this. So imagine we were a client, we had a client, they gave us the designs and everything that we sort of needed, and then we built it out. You guys saw live debugging at its absolute finest today. We have full authentication with Clerk. We have 2FA with verification codes with Clerk authentication as well. We have a full, group calling functionality. We have one-to-one calls. We have the ability to search and see calls. We have the ability to join existing rooms. We have the ability to use client-side state to basically filter out our different options. It's been an incredible build, right? And we even have different native dependencies and how you can go ahead and spin up both iOS and Android phones, right, in sample environments. And of course, if you're doing this, remember, scan that QR code that comes up on the screen. If you're wondering which one I'm talking about, if you press on the question mark inside of your terminal and you simply press C, you will go ahead and see a massive QR code. Scan that with your phone, and basically your phone will be downloading a development build way quicker, by the way, than and it will basically be able to run your app. And as you push and hit save, the actual updates get streamed to your phone, which is so sick. Like, that's my favorite way of deving an iPhone app, but I stupidly again installed iOS beta onto my phone because I was eager to try Apple Intelligence. But yeah, anyway, we move. So all of this code will be available in the Pupper GitHub repo. So feel free to enjoy it there or build along if you want it for free. Completely your call. And like I said, guys, if any of this was difficult and you want to go ahead and, really feel confident, all you have to do is head over to pupperreact.com/course. So www.pupperreact.com/course. And you will hit over to 0 to Full Stack Hero. We have tons of new goodies, by the way. So we even got new SaaS modules coming, and we have a new Turbo SaaS access coming very shortly, but it's included in our Diamond plan as well. You guys can go ahead and feel free to check it out. We have weekly coaching calls. Everything that you see in these calls, honestly, this is where it all comes first. This is where we figure out problems. This is where we do all of the hard work together. I really do recommend you head over to pupperreact.com, the landing page, and on the top right, click on the reviews section. And this is really what I highly recommend people come and see for themselves.
Will take me from.
So this is literally where you'll see all of the students inside the community, like Brian, Luke, Rogers. We have over 1,000 students inside of this app. It's absolutely awesome. The Expo boy was a bad boy, which now turns to a good boy. Yeah, it's absolutely awesome to see. But even you guys can see like all of our students, and there's just endless results inside of our community. 0 to Full Stack Hero is basically all of my heart and soul into one place. Everything that you see on streams condensed into one area is basically what you'll get inside of 0 to Full Stack Hero. And the best part, it's weekly updated. So if you're in the sort of pickle about where you want to go to basically keep up to date with the latest and greatest in the tech space, then make sure you go ahead and join us over at 0 to Full Stack Hero. It's just the only place that it makes sense being a part of, right? I don't know why my music cut off, but I'm going to end it the only way I can, the Pupper Fam way. And as I mentioned before, guys, feel free to go ahead and check this out on your own time. pupperreact.com/testimonials. You can see it at pupperreact.com/ just the homepage, really. Come here and you see the reviews yourself. Yeah, but cool, absolutely awesome. A massive thank you to the amazing Clerk team. If you're watching this video, by the time this video is probably reaching a lot of you, all of those problems that we experienced in the beginning will have been fixed. We already have the Clerk team informed, so they already know about the problems and all that kind of stuff, so it's already going to be handled. But otherwise, it was absolutely incredible. You guys saw how we could implement React Native authentication via Clerk, and you saw how we can implement real-time video calling and audio calling. And if you want me to do another video with GetStream, simply drop it in the comments down below and I can show them and we can go ahead and do something cool together. Otherwise, guys, it's been your boy Papa React, and as always, I will see you in the next video. I'm aiming for next week. Can we do it? I think so. All right, guys, take care. Peace. Thank you guys. Ciao.